let's call the meeting to order. First item is whether there's any additions to the agenda. I would like to pull the November 24 minutes off for a very minor typo. And we decided we're not going to add the D&K sewer extension until we have a chance to review it with the, or sewer amendment, until we review it with the wastewater committee. That's what we talked about earlier. Are you good with that?
Yeah.
Okay. And then, what was the item you wanted to put on? Oh, we want to put the Meadow Road Bridge.
That's on there, I think, isn't it?
It's not on the agenda.
Well, he never sent me the,
Well, we're not going to take action.
okay,
But
that's fine.
why don't we put it on so we
That's
just have
good.
an update about
Do you want to
the
have it
process.
after Village Covered Bridge?
Yeah, after covered bridge. And do we have a covered bridge?
I did what we had talked about, and I added, it's in the town administrator report, just
Okay.
the essence of
Well,
what
let's
he was offering.
keep it on the agenda, we'll talk about it. Okay. And then, is there anybody here for the public forum? Great, so we'll move on to regular business. Does anybody else have any changes to the agenda?
Nope.
First item is consideration of outdoor liquor consumption from the Mad Moose Bar and Grill. Do we have anybody here from Mad Moose Bar and Grill?
Is this different from what we said last time, which is a continuation?
Yes,
Okay.
that was.
Outdoor consumption is a separate
Okay,
That was 3.
thing.
that was for 3, yeah.
Yeah, this is outdoor consumption.
Do we know who FTAS INC is?
I don't.
I'm guessing that's Craig, maybe?
No, Craig's here.
Oh, he is. Oh, just kidding. I have no idea.
Oh, could that be, for the due process
Yeah, that-
resolution?
Okay, maybe.
Oh, that's, yeah, I'm sorry, that would be.
I guess, I mean, I had emailed Eric and Aaron about Mandu's, and then I sent them the agenda, and I guess, that's that.
Well, why don't we go back to changing the agenda and put that down under our meeting with Laura in the rec district? Is that okay?
Which item is that?
The
Pushing number
outdoor
1.
liquor consumption.
We're moving 1 to a new 5, then changing all the other ones.
Just in
Okay.
case they show up.
Okay.
Great.
Or 4, sorry.
So then, next item is the due process resolution. Bobby, have you, so just to recap, yeah, come on up and join us. Bobby and several other folks requested that we put this on our agenda. We decided at the last meeting that we would do that. There were some comments made at the last meeting that one of the, therefore be it resolved, had us asking the county sheriff and state
Right.
police to, I forget what.
Sign, to
sign
sign the
to-
oath,
to
yeah.
kind of pledge that.
Yeah.
And the comment was made that they really can't pledge allegiance to anything other than their oath of office. So have you seen the changes?
I have.
I made a minor change
Yeah.
with Dave and just said that we would share it with them and ask them to respect it as they conduct their business in town and state.
Okay.
Are you're okay with that?
Oh, yeah, that was fine.
Any comments or questions?
I had a,
The change that you made, oh, sorry.
oh, go ahead,
Go
Larissa.
ahead, Lisa.
I was just gonna ask I'm assuming the change that you and David made is reflected in the draft that's included in the meeting packet, or is there?
Yes, it's
A further amendment, okay.
not shown in IC as track changes, but it's in the be it finally resolved, the very last point.
Mhm.
Yes, I did not track changes.
No, that's okay. I wanted to make sure that the version that I'm looking at and approving is the version that you're
I got one typo
referring to.
that somehow made it in. Space here.
The typo that notify the?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is
I
that you
had
too?
a question and a comment. I guess a couple of years ago, we approved a resolution on inclusivity that a whole bunch of like 200 towns in the state have approved, and it was Declaration of Inclusivity 1. I don't see that on our website anywhere. I think it was on our old one and maybe didn't make the transition to the new one, but it would be great to get that on there. And that that declaration seems overlapping with the, let's see, the second, be it further resolved, the third, I guess, be it further resolved, that the select board opposes any policy or action, local, state, or federal, that targets individuals based on who they are, etc. That's, personally, I agree with the statement. It's not necessarily like, we can't have that
Yeah.
overlap, I'm just pointing it out.
Is it a conflict?
I don't think so. I think they're mutually supportive. I think
Is it this that's at the bottom of our website?
Where'd you find that?
Yes,
Where
that
was
one. Yeah, that one.
Seriously, where is it?
It's at the bottom of the main page. So it's
That's
not
good.
like, it's not
That's
like
awesome.
its own thing that's signed, but,
Does anyone see any conflict with it, or are they just mutually compatible, you know, supportive?
Supportive.
Yeah,
No, I think they're
I think
compatible.
they're compatible.
Yeah.
yeah,
This is much shorter.
yeah.
Can you tell me again real quick where the typo is?
The very
It's
last.
the very last, be it finally resolved. In that first
Ah.
line,
Thank you.
there should be a space between notify and the before
Thank
Washington
you.
County Sheriff.
Blasted.
I saw that, should have said something ahead of this. Any other questions or comments? So, you know,
I do think,
go ahead.
just really quickly, I do think at the point that functioning on the assumption that this ends up being adopted, that we should specify who the point of contact is for such communications in a clear way, if that's something we're planning on including. I don't know that the amendment, or the resolution itself needs to be amended, but I do think that having some clarity on who we are proposing people should reach out to.
You're talking about
Would be-
in the second to last paragraph?
Correct, yep.
I would think it would be York.
That would be my thought also, but I didn't want to assume.
I think you're capable of that.
Do you want that
I don't think it'll
shown
be
in
a
this?
huge time sink.
Do you guys, who knows?
I don't think it needs to show in the
Okay.
document.
Okay.
No, I don't think we need to do another draft of this. I just want to be clear that we're all on the same page as to what our expectations are for who that person is. Did someone ask, for instance?
So I said at the last meeting, I am sometimes reluctant to put national political things on the agenda, but if it's a request from the town and the whole board, you know, the majority of the board wants to see it, it's good. Personally, I appreciate your doing this, and I think that these are challenging times, and having a statement like this is appropriate, so
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Yeah, I think Peter feels, he's listening. That's Peter Franti.
Yeah, and Peter spoke so eloquently last time, and even since the last meeting when we discussed this, there's been, I don't know if you've seen the ProPublica reporting and the congressional report on detention of legal residents and citizens, but quite relatively frequent, or much more frequent than it should be, which is negligible. And I think I feel very comfortable passing this resolution, so thanks.
I think also assuming that it's just something that doesn't necessarily apply to, it's like I've heard some concerns that this isn't a local matter, and I think that that's a little bit nearsighted. I think that this could very well be a local matter, and it's certainly a local matter that is directly impacting Winooski and other residents all around. And I, for one, would like my family members of color to feel safe coming to visit me. So.
Anything else? Would anybody
Want
like
to
to
add anything?
weigh in?
I did not send you the updated version, but the only change was that police statement, and it just that we'll keep them apprised, and try to work collaboratively, but they can't sign a statement. another oath other than their own.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
urge them to affirm their shared commitment to constitutional rights, equal justice, and the safety and dignity of every member of our community in the conduct of their duties, so they don't need to come out and say anything. It's just
Okay.
in their actions.
I really appreciate you taking the time with this. I mean, I looked at what your agenda is tonight and all the attached documents and, you know, the different things that are going on, but I really appreciate it. And I did, if anyone had a chance to listen to I forget the Michaela's noon hour show on Vermont Public, but she interviewed the superintendent from Winooski who had been detained at the airport.
Yeah,
over
in
the
Houston.
summer. Yeah, in Houston, and he's a wonderful man. I learned today that 10% of the students in Winooski are Somali.
Yeah.
And it's one of the only districts in the state that has many students of color. And now he's in trouble again, because now he flew the Somali flag beneath our flag, but the rumors that it went ahead, and then he's received threatening telephone calls at home and had to move his family out of their house. So it's scary.
Yeah, it is happening here.
Yeah, it is happening here.
So would anyone like to make a motion to adopt it and direct all communications about it to the town administrator?
I'd make that motion.
Second?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, Bobby.
And thank you for all you do.
Thank you,
And thank you for taking the time to give the context, and forgive me, I've forgotten your name. I think it was Pete.
Peter.
Pete Franzoni.
Peter? Okay, I was like, I feel like it started with a P. Thank you for taking the time to sort of explain the context of how this came about. I really appreciate.
Most welcome, and thank you, all of our members of the board. My deepest thanks, my sincerest gratitude. I certainly appreciate it. And, not just for making the time and the effort, but for taking the risks. I sure appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Peter?
Thank you, Peter.
Thank you.
Craig, you want to come up?
And that is in, that's in the warrant packet for you
Yep.
guys all to sign.
What, the resolution? Should we real quickly print a typo-free version? We'll do that right now.
Craig, are you, rumor you coming with good news?
Depends. Depends on what you decide. No, I think I do have good news, but
Just don't always go together. Health insurance premiums and good news.
Not working out for me this month.
well, we'll see after this conversation.
Thank you.
So York reached out and asked me to look at what the town offers for medical insurance to your employees. And currently, the town is insured through Blue Cross Blue Shield with a platinum plan. If you're all aware of the exchange, plans come in platinum, gold, silver, bronze. Benefits are all the same in all those plans. It's just how much does the premium bill out and how much does an employee have for liability. So under the platinum plan, you should all have this piece of paper. And on page 1, which is a small little number at the very bottom, you'll see in blue the current rates and benefits under that platinum plan with Blue Cross Blue Shield. The enrollment currently is 2 single people, 1 person has a child or children on the plan, and there are 2 families. So the town at the end of this month will have spent $153,000 plus for medical care. The plan is very generous in how it provides benefits. The middle column has what will be in place if the town renews as is with Blue Cross Blue Shield. So there's a minor benefit change. The deductible is increasing from $450 to $500. It does not impact the out-of-pocket exposure that employees have. It's either $3,200 or $6,400. Other than that, the plan is basically the same, except rates are going up for Blue Cross 5+%. So in 2026, identical plan with that one change, you have 161,521 for your exposure for premium. The column, yes.
Question,
please.
that's based on the same
Enrollment,
enrollment.
that's correct.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that's actually a modest increase compared to recent history.
It is, and that was mostly the Green Mountain Care Board controlling what the renewals were for 2026.
Craig, I don't wanna skip ahead necessarily, but does our current Blue Cross Blue Shield consider what was utilized this year? That
Absolutely.
doesn't matter all,
Absolutely not.
really? Okay.
In the exchange, the rates are set by the carriers, submitted to the Green Mountain Care Board, they are reviewed, then they're released. Everybody on a platinum plan, based on their enrollment, will be charged these same rates.
Okay.
And along the way, no group knows the experience of utilization under the plan. You pay a premium, you get a benefit. You pay a premium, you get a benefit. You have absolutely no idea what's going on underneath the plan for any employees. The far right column gives you the exact same plan. In the exchange, platinum, gold, silver, bronze, they're all controlled by the Affordable Care Act. The carriers price them, put them out there for the public to consider and purchase when they feel like it. So the platinum plan with MVP, again, exact same benefits in 2026. You would see a decrease in premium of 8+%. No benefit change to your population, just a different carrier with a different filed set of rates.
Do we know, Craig, how many, are doctor's offices, et cetera, are they pretty similar if one takes Blue Cross Blue Shield, they usually take MVP?
It's a good question. So within Vermont, MVP and Blue Cross have a pretty extensive network, but I can't say all providers are part of those networks. In the provider world, the hospitals control the docs. So the UVMs, the Dartmouth Hitchcocks, Porter, I can't even think of the one up in north of Stowe, Copley.
Yeah.
They're all part of both networks. The outliers are the independents. The independents are mental health, physical therapists, chiropractors. If they join a network, they probably will join both, but I can't guarantee that. In most cases, if they don't join a network, they're not going to be part of either because they just don't want to deal with insurance. They don't have the big umbrella that, does everything for them, and they just don't spend the resources. So the outliers are chiropractors, mental health, physical therapists.
That's helpful, thanks.
But I can say from my own experience, traditional medical needs that I've needed, I've used both Blue Cross and MVP. Not to say I'm a poster child, but I will jump to the lowest price. Why pay more for the same benefit if there's no real difference between the two?
Mm-hmm.
So an MVP switch to a platinum plan would be very minor to your employees. On page 2,
It would be minor and it's cost savings.
definitely a cost savings.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Brian.
They'd have to,
Fill out some
fill out,
paperwork.
get an online ID, stuff like that.
Yes, yes. And that would need to happen pretty quickly,
Yeah.
like, very quickly.
Like before the holiday or?
Oh, definitely before the holiday.
Like today,
I
basically,
think today was
right?
the cutoff for Blue Cross Blue Shield.
Well, that's
Yes.
for individuals going into the exchange.
Oh, okay.
So that's open enrollment. Groups have a little more flexibility. I would throw out the end of this week, early next week at the very latest to get things done. Page 2, column 1, column 2 are identical. Where you're at today, where you would be with Blue Cross in the exchange under the Platinum plan. Column 3 is a new plan available through Blue Cross Blue Shield. It would take membership with an organization in Burlington called BRS. It's a captive program. Excuse me, I talk a lot and I lose my voice after a couple minutes. So within what's called Blue Edge Business, the captive individually rates each group that becomes a member. Because it's tied to Blue Cross, they are able to see the utilization of the past participants that have been covered by the Blue Cross plan.
Yeah.
They use that to develop a rate for each individual group, and the rates that came out for 2026 are in column 3. The plan is very different from what you're currently doing, but I'm adding a new feature to make it even better than what you're currently doing. So let me go through the plan design so you all understand what's happening in this plan. It's has a $3,000 calendar year deductible. That's an oh my God moment from the $500 in the Platinum plan. It has a $3,000 maximum out of pocket. That's very similar to the $3,200 that people could incur under the Platinum plan. Under the cost share, everything is paid by the plan 100% once the deductible has been satisfied. So it's a very easy plan to understand from a mechanic standpoint. You pay X, once you reach it, plan pays everything else. So the rates down below for this plan would save the town 25% over the current 2025 plan rates. With some of that savings, I'm suggesting you give back through what's called an HRA, a health reimbursement arrangement. It's a promise to reimburse claims as they're incurred under the plan. I set it at the high level just to show you how an HRA works. So at a high level, the town would commit to pay the $3,000 deductible or the $6,000 for people with dependents. After paying that, if everybody utilized 100% of the HRA, your savings is still 11% below what your current costs are.
And even if that happens, it's still less than the MVP Platinum, is that correct?
That's correct. Even less than the MVP. So I kind of showed you MVP if you wanted to keep change as small as possible, one carrier to the next. But I quoted BRS, the BEB program, to actually enhance benefits. Now, the HRA is a decision by the employer to set a limit of reimbursement. I set it high. You could say, let's reimburse $2,000. Let's reimburse $1,000. You could set anything you want as a reimbursement level. And if you go down on that, obviously your savings are going to increase even more.
Sorry.
No, go ahead, Larissa.
So as far as an HRA goes, that means that the employees would be out of pocket the amount until they are reimbursed by the town?
Under the limit I'm setting or any limit?
Basically, the structure of an HRA, I'm more familiar with HSAs than HRAs.
Sure.
So it's not as if we're funding an account that employees could then draw upon to cover
It's a reimbursement.
deductibles. Employees would be out of pocket whatever the amount is until they get reimbursed. So there is sort of a cash flow
No.
burden
No.
of sorts that
No.
we're putting on.
Good question. So the way the HRA would work is it's embedded inside the Blue Cross claims system. So somebody goes in, identifies themselves with a Blue Cross card. The bill is sent to Blue Cross. As soon as Blue Cross adjudicates the bill, we cover this, this is subject to your $3,000 deductible. That then goes immediately to the HRA, and within a week
Got
of
it.
receiving that bill, the HRA is paying that provider directly. So-
Okay, understood.
That's
I just
cool.
wanted to make sure that
Yep.
for this, the savings the town is getting, that we're not putting employees at a financial disadvantage, even if it's just short term.
No,
So is,
Blue Cross probably gets paid quicker that way, sending a bill to an individual.
true.
is the town essentially pre-funding the HRA so that when, they get that, the HRA gets the bill, like,
The HRA administrator would have a direct link to the town's checking account.
got it.
And when a claim is reimbursed, the email goes out to the town designated person. We just took $895 to pay this
Yeah.
bill.
Mhm.
So it's a sweep account.
Yeah, okay.
The money
better.
stays with the town until it's actually
Nice.
incurred and then reimbursed.
Mhm.
And this is based on the calendar year.
It is.
So at the end of the calendar year, the town recovers or keeps what was unspent.
You never even released it. So
Yeah.
it's always been in the town's checking account.
Yeah.
At the end of the year, if there's still money there that you budgeted, you would budget 100% utilization. At the end of the year, if it was 80%, the 20% never left the town. Yep.
Got it.
And this plan is not HSA eligible.
It is, but under the reimbursement rules of an HSA, if there is an HRA on top of it, the employees are not eligible. Unless you create what's called a post-deductible HRA. A post-deductible HRA would say, employee, you're responsible for $1,700 or $3,400 based on enrollment. If you structure your plan post-deductible and then pay the difference or any amount after, employees can put money in an HSA.
I was wondering if, but the town would not be able to put money into an HSA, and the employee would then be able to keep that money moving forward.
You could do that. If you bypass the HRA and just fund an HSA, this is an HSA compatible plan. But if you know the HSA rules compared to an HSA, you're giving the money
Yeah.
away. It's gone,
Yeah.
whether they spend it or not.
Yeah.
Under the HRA, you're reimbursing expenses after they're incurred. Most towns, and I'm not speaking out of any privacy, because Moortown does an HRA, Facein does an HRA, Warren does an HRA, but they all have this plan as the underlying plan because of the simplicity of it. This is your deductible based on your enrollment. We supply so much to reimburse. It's a very clean setup.
If the board decided, the town decided to pay a portion of the deductible?
Yep.
Would the employee be able to contribute the balance?
If it was post-deductible, right? So if you set your HRA limit at $1,701 up, then employees could fund their own personal HSA. Because of that post-deductible IRS rule that the HRA can't pay first up to that limit.
Okay.
So even,
We don't have an HSA today for the town, right?
Correct.
Yeah, so it almost feels like we're overcomplicating things.
Yeah, I
We
just-
go down
I
that
mean,
path.
I've had experience with both of them, and I still have my HSA money.
yeah, right.
And just to make sure I understand, the HRA pays first if, I know you did 3,000, 6,000, but if we did 2,500, 5,500, the HRA pays first up until that last 500, is that how it works?
If you want, the beauty of an HRA is you write it. So you could say, employee, you're responsible for 500, we'll pay 2,500.
Right.
Or-
And we can decide who pays first?
Yep.
Okay.
You
Or
can
it could be even split.
Or it could be split, we'll pay half, you pay half. It's very flexible, because you write the script on the HRA.
And who is the administrator of
Sure.
the HRA?
There's an organization in Burlington called Northeast Benefit Management,
Yeah.
if you're familiar with them.
Yep.
They are embedded in the Blue Edge contract. The pricing is part of the premiums that you see here.
Okay.
So if you don't require any special services, they can accommodate either a pay first, pay second, or split. For no cost.
And they're pretty much the only game in town, right?
There's a few others out there. They're the ones that BEB exclusively works with, and they have access.
We use those,
Yeah, they have access to the Blue Cross claim system, obviously with authorization to be able to get the downloads and the feeds and all that.
You may have already said this, I'm sorry, Craig, if I'm asking you to repeat yourself, but the blueness of Blue Edge presumably also falls within the Blue Cross Blue Shield network. So I want to make sure the coverage would be the same. It's just the structure of how we're paying it is different.
That is correct.
Okay, I just want to make sure that folks who have sort of longer term treatment plans set up aren't going to have to start
Very good
back over at the
question.
beginning, because I've been on that journey. It is not fun.
Yeah,
Like-
so if anybody has gone through step therapy for drugs, that would roll over. If somebody has an MRI on January 5th, that would roll over. There would be no interruption because it's all still within the Blue Cross.
Which is not the case if we were to switch to MVP.
That is correct.
Okay.
Yep. So here's the second piece of this contract. It's a captive, and captives are formed to benefit the members of the captive. Each group is a member of the captive, and based on if you got this proposal for Blue Cross Blue Shield, the captive will set what's called an expected claim attachment point for the year, and they're using that based on prior experience of what claims have happened. You are a small group, so it's not 100% credible, but they use that information to develop the monthly rates. Part of the monthly rates is the attachment point. They will watch the attachment point every month and see what claims are actually paid.
What is an attachment point?
Sure,
Sorry.
it's their actuarial expectation of what claim activity will be in the coming year. So they'll set that level, watch it, and at the end of the year, if the level of claims actually paid is lower than what they set, the town will get a refund for 50% of whatever that difference is. If you exceed the attachment level, that just means no refund. There's no way for them to adjust and recoup any claim activity that they didn't expect. It would reflect in the renewal, but for this year, those rates are locked in. The town will not pay less, and it could receive a refund based on good claim activity.
And the risk being, if we have a high claim activity, our rates will go up significantly next year.
They could, or you might not get a renewal.
Yep.
Because the captive is designed to protect its members. It's pretty extreme to not get a renewal, but it does happen. There's a second possibility in the captive. As a whole, the captive looks at all its members, sets a maximum claim attachment point for everybody, and even if the claim activity for Waitsfield was higher than expected, but the captive was lower, you would get a second refund based on what the captive reports for all its members. So you actually have potentially two savings that are unknown at this point. You wouldn't know it until well into 2027, because we're talking about 26. There is a run out on claims where they keep the books open for straggling claims that come in after the first of the next calendar year. So approximately 8.5 months after the claims from the prior year have run out, they will release the final results for both your group and the captive. So there's potential for additional savings than what's on this paper. You have no exposure beyond what's on this paper. It makes sense. It really, and let's look at the worst case. You hit maximum claims, they don't like you, you get a renewal that's super high. It happens. You can go back to Vermont Health Connect and either purchase MVP or Blue Cross. They won't look at your group.
That's a sticker price off the rack, right?
That's it?
Yep.
So you have an ace in the hole to get back out of it if things go the wrong way. Most groups get a reasonable renewal below the Vermont Health Connect, and they get refunds.
Got it. Who else is in captive? Is it
Lots of groups.
kind of Vermont specific?
Oh, it's only Vermont
Because
groups.
it's,
It's a
Across
Vermont
the street, yeah.
captive only.
yeah.
So-
got it. And municipalities or kind of broad private?
All over,
All over.
honestly, Chacha, it's any group that qualifies and it makes sense.
Employer.
It's a pretty broad risk pool then.
It is. And it's been,
Okay.
I think it's been now 7 years actively attracting members to the group.
And-
Yeah, I don't wanna, I don't know what you can offer. I read the, article about Warren and their rates going up.
Yep.
The day after that meeting, I was out of town, but Lisa Loomis called me and said, what are you guys doing for healthcare? They're not eligible because they had higher levels of claims in the recent years.
That's correct. They had 3 good years, same size group, blew up last year. They moved on.
And they could go back. in the
And they
future
could go
if-
back.
If they have.
It's not a
that's good.
closed door. Every year with groups that I administer, I put the request out to get another quote. If it makes sense, groups will move, and if not, they'll stay where they're at. So, I don't wanna say this the wrong way, but there's no downside at all. There's only upside. A, in a fixed premium savings. B, you share some of that back to offset the difference in the plan. And you just wait and watch, and when the year ends and the claims run out, if there's money there, that's a win.
And I saw the rate differences. Do you know what the employee share rate differences are per month? I saw that the MVP Platinum, for example, is $12.16 a month. And the Blue Edge is $1,022, so
If you go to the-
$194 less.
If you go to the third page that
Oh,
I
yeah.
printed.
All right,
I think that
York,
answers your
York
question.
did those numbers.
This
I-
one?
Yeah, I think, is that what you're looking for? The plan tiers and then the total monthly premium and the
Okay, so
employee's
this
monthly
is
share?
Blue Edge business, got it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
And how does this vary for this year?
It's all less expensive
For
for the employee,
Okay, because
their monthly share.
their percentage, because the premium goes down, their percentage goes, yeah.
The percentage stays the same, which is described above,
Yeah.
95%, 94%, and 87%.
Okay, so this is the election form for Blue Edge, and then when does the town need to make its decisions on HRA levels?
Soon,
Okay.
sooner than later.
Wouldn't we need to make those prior to
The election?
an employee sign up?
Yeah.
So they'd know, like.
Right.
Right, because once a decision is made, the next step would be gather your people, put them in front of me, and let me explain all this.
Okay.
So that nobody
But
hears.
these numbers aren't gonna change based on the HRA numbers.
That is correct.
If you want to keep the percentages of the plans for the employees the same, then yes, that is the right number. I also did run like a 70-30, which now when I do the math even closer, it ends up being a little more for deductible, like the 30% for the individual would end up being $900, which of course is more than what the Blue Cross Blue Shield, but we could do the math, so it's like 80-20 or something, which.
This page that you're looking at where you ran numbers, York, is this something that you emailed out a little while ago?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
It was just kind of, I was running numbers in case the select board didn't wanna do the 100% HRA. So for example, if the select board chose 70-30, then for an individual plan, the employee would be responsible, I think 30% would be $900, for example. And a family would be
Okay.
$1,800.
But this page, which says, in addition, the town will pay 70% of the deductible, that is.
That's
we
not
need to
shown on
delete-
this.
We need
That-
to take that out, right?
Well,
Well, it's just
it depends.
not
what-
set in stone yet.
Okay,
It
right.
depends what
That's
the
what I
select board
Yeah.
chooses, but this is similar to the election forms that
All right,
the
I
town
got it.
does every year.
And,
Yeah.
and, I mean, we've been throwing around the 70% number, to hold the employee kind of harmless, they're currently paying their full deductible. I wonder if we should consider making the town's contribution to keep that same
That's-
level of contribution the same for them, so they're getting a
dollar
lower
amount.
rate, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, which would be more like 80-20-ish.
Right,
80,
there, it looks like
Maybe.
there would be other,
84.
I think so, if I understand the numbers, we can figure that out.
Yep.
there'd be other savings for the employee, right? There's a lower premium and
Yep.
there's,
Yep.
no copay on, like, pretty much once you hit that deductible, there's no copay for anything.
That's it,
So
everything's,
it's, I'm not saying we should, but we could hold the employee kind of even and have them pay more of the deductible because they're gonna realize savings elsewhere.
And
Given that our next meeting is the 5th of January, right?
too late.
My guess is that this is something, if we're gonna move on as a board, we probably have to do tonight, would be my guess, unless we're calling a special meeting. Because I'm guessing the 5th of January is too late.
Way too late.
so the copay, that's after, I always get mixed up with your deductible and your maximum out of pocket.
Let's go through the middle column, assuming the plan renews Blue Cross Platinum. Each individual would be responsible to pay $500 as a deductible when the deductible applies. There is no deductible for drugs, so $500 is an employee out-of-pocket cost 100% when expenses are subject to that deductible. Then you have out-of-pocket limits. Under the 2026 plan, it's $1,600 maximum for medical, $1,600 maximum for drugs. When you combine the two, that's how you get a $3,200 maximum out-of-pocket. Under the Platinum plan, the deductible is waived for preventative care, universal, all plans, even in BEB, once a year, non-diagnostic care, covered 100%. The deductible also in the Platinum plan does not apply for a primary care provider visit, office charge, a specialist, office charge, or urgent care.
The deductible does not apply.
No deductible.
So the individual has to cover all of those costs.
No, so in the PCP and the specialists and urgent care, it's a copayment. So a copayment at point of service, but again, the plan itself says you get 3 PCP visits, no cost. After that, then you pay a copayment of $15.
And that goes towards your deductible?
It will go towards your out-of-pocket maximum.
Okay.
Because,
So
good question,
All the copays go towards your out-of-pocket.
out-of-pocket maximum.
So, yeah, okay.
But when you share a cost, that doesn't go towards your deductible, because by definition, a deductible is an expense that you pay for 100%. So where do you pay 100% of your costs before you hit your deductible? Hospitals, in or outpatient, any ancillary service, PET scans, CAT scans, MRIs, testing, all that does go towards your deductible. Once you reach it, then on that cost sharing, you'll pay a percent or a fixed dollar amount until you hit your out-of-pocket maximum. So, to make it somewhat uncomplicated, if you were gonna have the employees have some skin in the game for their out-of-pocket costs, I would suggest have your HRA come in first and then have them backfill at whatever level you say. Maybe you say, we'll pay 2,500, you're gonna pay the last 500. Because today, they're enjoying a copay or a free office visit or a specialist or whatever. And that would be an upset if somebody had to pay that first before the HRA kicked in or something like that.
So this is maybe, I've been spending a lot of time on the Health Connect website and talking
I
to
feel
people.
sorry for you.
We're sorry about it.
And I
is-
ran
it
numbers
is
on the
the
various platinum, gold,
options.
and what it seemed to me, what I found out was they're all the same in the end if you max out. So you either pay premiums or out of pocket.
Yeah.
But they all work out to about 38 grand a year.
Yeah.
So, and
Pretty
so the
true.
risk is you can go with a high deductible plan. If you stay away from the doctors, you win.
Yeah.
But if you have.
Well,
a
you
health-
win in some ways maybe, unless you don't win
well,
from staying
yeah,
away from the doctors.
Truth, yeah, well.
Okay, sorry.
If you do your
Unless
preventive,
you
if
think
you do
you're
your
winning until you
preventative,
find out,
If
oops,
you
you
have a
actually
serious
lost.
illness and you stay away from them, you're
Yeah.
right. is what
Yes.
you were saying.
Yeah,
But does that sound right to you?
it does, absolutely. You know, at the very end, do you pay premium to keep your exposure low or save premium and accept
Yeah.
a highlight? You know, it's like when you insure your house, do you go with a $250 deductible or $1,000?
Yeah.
And it's just, how does the money flow, who's paying what? At the end, the risk is the same, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. But to keep your staff happy, again, I would say HRA first, and if you're gonna have them do anything, they do it at the very end.
Yep.
Because if they get to the 2,500 and they gotta pay another 500, it's probably because they had a claim, not a doctor's office or something else. It's probably in or outpatient care or
Yeah.
big expense for labs or who knows what.
So in Blue Cross, we're eligible for this because they know what our,
Well, even if you were MVP, you'd still be eligible. You're just getting more accurate pricing because they know your history.
that's what I'm saying, they know our
Yes.
history.
Yeah.
They know your history,
So,
even though you don't know it.
yeah.
And
But
nobody else
Based on that
knows.
history, there's a reasonable chance that we're gonna end up with HRA money in the bank next year.
And probably a refund at the end of the year unless claims
Yeah,
blow
some
up.
So
savings.
is that how it works? They refund the
Yeah.
balance?
Yep, give it right back to the town decides what to do with it.
Well, it'd refund the premium if there's a savings versus their attachment
Yep,
rate.
it'll be a one-time check,
Yeah.
refund back to you.
and then, so if we would be saving, 11.1% over, that's over this year, right? Or is that over?
It's over 2025.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
so it's more than that compared to the Blue Cross.
It
Yeah.
definitely
Yeah,
would
yeah.
be.
As
It's
it-
more than that compared to what we're saving from renewing our current plan.
Correct.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so if we were to go with that, I'd like to, have some savings for the town and pass some savings on to the,
Employee.
to the employees. And that way also, there is an implicit skin in the game to keep, this plan available going forward, which would only happen, which doesn't happen if we blow through our limits, basically, right? So,
Yep.
I mean, it's not like just if, use your healthcare, but, hopefully we can keep passing on the savings to the employees is the point I'm trying to make, and then the town also benefits along with the taxpayers, but
Yep.
the number one thing is that the coverage also stays the same and it's not, injurious to them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
One question maybe more for York, the waiver, how many folks are taking the waiver? Because there sounds like a lot if we only have, whatever we said earlier.
Well,
Two
that's the
single,
question.
one
Does this,
parent child, two family.
does this become so sweet that
Yeah.
People jump in.
don't want the
Yeah.
waiver?
I don't think there's many. I mean, there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there's only 9 town employees, does that sound right?
And to be eligible for this, isn't it, you have to have 5 at least who are enrolled? Or am I making that up?
To make the captive work, you have to have 5 enrolled employees.
That's what I thought Tawny said, I couldn't remember.
During the year, you could drop below that, but if you don't have 5 at renewal, they won't renew.
Good to know.
And the other caveat, not a huge thing, you'd have to become a member of BRS, which is a $275 one-time, once-a-year fee. Because you gotta be a member of BRS to become a member of the captive.
Jeez, Craig.
I know, I'm nickel and diming you now. And you gotta pay me, no.
BRS.
BRS is Business Resource Service. They're a third-party
Okay, you said.
organization in
Okay, gotcha.
Burlington.
Okay, you got
Yep,
it.
so they put this captive together, and they get their
Is that
cut by
Same numbers last year?
Gotcha.
saying you gotta be a
Yeah,
member.
amount?
Gotcha.
Got it. Okay.
So then and I might have missed it in the shuffle there, sorry. So Craig, is your
You should rig this.
fee
Yeah.
for taking the time and effort to put this together, is that baked into
It's baked into all
everything?
this.
Okay, so there's
No.
not anything additional on
No,
top, okay.
no additional cost.
Thank you for doing this, it's really helpful.
Okay.
Yeah,
You're welcome.
This is awesome.
No, this,
Great.
yeah, I'm sorry, we didn't have this conversation a number of years ago.
Yeah.
Me too.
So Larissa, do I know you
Yes.
from, why can't I think of it? Dancing,
Probably.
yes,
Dancing with the
Yes.
Stars?
yes,
This
okay,
this is when you advertise for later in 2026.
yeah.
So I think Tony might have introduced us at line dancing when I was
Yes,
teaching line
there you
dancing
go,
still,
line
which I am
dancing.
not doing at the moment.
You can
because-
tell I don't go all
I would
that
physically
often,
fall
but
apart.
it is
Ah,
fun,
it's
it
okay.
is fun, you do a great job.
Good, I'm glad. Well, I'm glad that, because honestly, Tawny is the one who pushed me on this.
Oh,
And I was like, it would not be a bad idea for us to look into this.
Yeah,
So
very good,
I'm glad we did.
Good.
So thank you.
sure.
So we're gonna get into an executive session, we have a couple of personnel matters tonight. This will be one of them. You know, I don't know what the outcome's gonna be, but if we do decide to move forward, we need to move fast.
We do. I would suggest if you can sign a proposal, that's not committing you to anything, it would get the next step in place to actually have contracts available, because it takes a 2-step paper process.
And does that commit us to numbers?
Nope, well, it'll commit you to the numbers,
To the premiums,
Yes.
but not the HRA amount? Or
Nothing else.
Or the enrollment?
nope. But I would need a signed proposal to get BEB to generate the actual contracts that then would commit you.
And does that need a check with it?
No. And it wouldn't even need a check at enrollment because you're already a Blue Cross subscriber.
Yeah.
So all we would need really is this and then some town paperwork to get into the captive. The employees, unless somebody was changing their enrollment, adding, deleting, the employees don't have to fill out anything because they're already in Blue Cross.
Yeah, the election form is more, really for their knowledge, so that when we have a meeting, they can say, yeah, this is the policy I want, or whatever.
And so just double checking, since this says return by December 22nd, is that doable? In a-
That was just arbitrary-ish.
That's arbitrary, okay,
Yeah, I-
never mind.
I did mention, I talked briefly with Jennifer the other day, who said that you have been, open about sharing information in this idea. I guess, Craig, you mentioned that you may be available to sit down with staff.
Absolutely.
Or schedule a meeting at lunchtime or something.
Whenever it's convenient. Hopefully
Do you
not
feel
a
like
Wednesday.
people- I think I would want to extend that opportunity. If we were to go ahead with this,
Yeah,
do you feel like staff has been up to speed on?
yeah, I mean, I can't speak to the road crew, I mentioned it to Josh Rogers, our road foreman, but I think it's not a bad idea to offer that, and if they can't come, then I can try to relay the information. But I think it'd be really helpful.
Yeah, we are against the wall on timing.
Okay.
It's the only thing I can say.
Well, if after
Which is why I
executive,
started harassing you about this much earlier in the year, York. Gotta put in my 2 cents. All right.
Dig.
you did,
Not that you've had anything else going on. There's been nothing else going on.
Totally did.
So
But I think we're winning, and so that's good.
Yes,
But
I
yes,
do
you
too.
definitely did.
So if we were to do a form for some plan in executive session and get it to you tomorrow at your office, that would be.
That would be great, and then, once you have those decisions, an employee meeting, like, as soon as possible.
Yeah, we'll make it work, if the select board so chooses.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Who should I leave this with?
York. Thank you, York.
Well, thanks so much, Craig.
No,
I-
you're
I-
more than welcome.
I was afraid of our healthcare discussion.
It's all good.
this is not something I was expecting to get good news on. So that's
Yeah, again,
pleasant surprise.
could be MVP, that would be a little paperwork chase, no benefit change. BEB makes more sense, you got savings, you got better plan, no interruption.
What's the name of captive again?
BEB is business,
Business.
I'm
Blue
sorry,
Business Edge.
Blue Edge.
Blue Edge.
Blue Edge business.
Blue Edge.
And
Business.
Craig, what does the CDHP stand for?
Consumer Driven Health Plan, code word for HSA compatible,
Okay.
but not if you wrap an HRA around it, if it pays before 17 or 3,400.
Okay.
So, and I don't think you want to go that route,
Right.
but you
Appreciate
could.
it. Yeah.
You could. Because really, if you do that, you're kind of assuming your employees are going to fund the HSA, and that's a whole new concept and more education about why and what. But hey,
There's nothing to say that doing things one way this year doesn't, precludes us from
that is also very true.
doing something differently in the future. If
That
we're
is.
introducing a lot of change all at once, that might be.
Very true.
Just my experience had been, when my wife worked for the town of Bristol, they contributed to an HSA.
Yep.
And we then backfilled it, and it's a good investment.
It's a great thing.
Tax-free.
Yep.
Coming and going, so.
Yeah, and hey, the town could give away that money to everybody as an HSA to sweeten the deal, because then they can use it for dental and vision as well as medical. And then, like Larissa said, you could change gears next year and go HRA.
Yeah, I think the simplicity and the lack of, this kind of is as good as we can do is just keeping the same system with cost savings.
Sure.
So,
Yeah.
Much appreciated.
Thanks a lot.
Absolutely,
Yes,
yeah,
Craig.
thank you all.
Yeah.
All right,
Thanks.
You
You're
should
welcome.
make it easy.
that's good.
Laura, you wanna come up? with
Yeah,
next
and the
item
good
on
news is
agenda?
recreation's a little bit shorter and easier than,
Healthcare?
no, that was great, Craig. I learned a lot. I'm Laura Arneson, the Executive Director of the Recreation District, and thank you for having me here
Do
tonight.
you know everybody? And I should have asked Craig that too, but I'm sorry about that.
Yeah,
I
well,
don't, but you all know me, so
Now we do.
now you do.
that's right. So I have two documents that were in the packet, thank you, York. So this one is a two-pager on our accomplishments for 2025 and our goals for 2026. So the overarching themes are that we're working on a new 5-year strategic plan. We delayed that because we had the big VORAC grant, and a lot of my time was going toward that. So now that we're past that, we're focusing on the next 5 years. And so if there's any input from any of you or other boards, we'll be bringing a draft forward to the select boards in 2026. We've identified two priorities. One is enhancements at Mad River Park. I mean, it's a great park, but we want to keep it really safe and good for the kids and the visitors, and we have different jamborees there and things like that. So enhancements there, and then We also want to just research support for indoor recreation space. People have been talking about it for decades. It's really expensive. It could only happen if we had grassroots support, kind of like how we got Moortown on board. You know, just everybody would have to agree that they'd be willing to have bonds or other fundraising mechanisms. It's a difficult point in time for fundraising with the state or federal or even private. So we're just going to research the appetite for it. But we think that's important because people have been talking about it for so long. We also have another primary goal is to work with our recreation partners to make sure we have the balance of recreation and stewardship of the environment, continuing the CRV principles, but we'll do that through our partners. So we got Moortown on board. I think everybody's pretty happy about that for the equity for 30 years. They were not part of the rec district, but starting in January they will be. We closed out the board.
That hasn't started, they haven't started?
Right, they voted at town, you guys voted, the 3 founding towns had to vote at town meeting last March to accept a half member.
Yeah.
And change our, MOU, memorandum of understanding, and they at that time voted to become a member and to pay, so it had to start in 2026.
Okay.
Yeah, so, but we've had Chris Stevenson, who's the head of the Recreation Committee in Moortown, join our meetings since the summer. And now we have a new representative from Moortown who's attending, not voting quite yet, but Mike Dubois, who's the executive director of the Green Mountain Club. So that's just great to have his expertise with us. We closed out the VORAC grant. We got every penny of that $408,019. Yeah, it was a lot of work, but a lot of great things happened in the valley, and we continue CRV with quarterly meetings and the partners, informing each other and hopefully making those CRV priorities long-lasting. We have 3 deliverables on our website associated with VORAC, and I hope you've looked at it, especially the online mapping tool, and we hope to get more public attention against those so that if people are putting trails on their land, they can avoid those 13 key ecological features to help the trails be sustainable and help, animals and plants and, keep the valley healthy. We, and there are other deliverables on there that could be a great thing to look at if you have some time. We have our website, we've capacity to have announcements, so if you have any, events or recreation-oriented things you'd like, just email me. And I change that a couple times a month, the homepage. We were really glad that we had the irrigation system at Mad River Park last summer because we had some dry spells, and we did that a few years ago with all privately raised funds, which was great. We have a new volunteer hero. Charlie Hosford was the first one, and this year we voted Doug Bergstein, who is the treasurer of the rec district, and also was the head of the Warren Recreation Committee for over 20 years. So he's done a lot for a lot of groups in the valley, especially recreation. And we've tried to be more front-facing with columns in the Valley Reporter and notices on Front Porch Forum. And we did 3 different safety things this year, which I'm really proud about. We sold rechargeable bike lights and discounted bike helmets at the farmers market. We also did a Stop the Bleed workshop. It's to give people confidence to use a tourniquet if needed. And we hope to offer that again next year. It's about a 1-hour free workshop, and I took it and really, you think like, okay, I could jump in and help. Now I think I know more what I should do. So, and then we also decided that we really want kids in the valley to learn how to swim. There are very few swim instructors in the valley, so we weren't able to start our own program, but we partnered with Waterbury Recreation, and we offered to 27 first and second graders free swim lessons, through the funds that our towns have given us. And it was great to work with Waterbury. It was good for them. It filled some of their open slots. And we have $4,000 in our 2026 budget to continue that for kids. The same
That's
kid would
in
do it
Waterbury.
again. Sorry?
In Waterbury at their pool?
We did it actually at Shark. Waterbury
Okay.
had some of their lessons at Shark, and then in the summer they were there. So it was great. So we'll continue that. And in 2025, we awarded $55,298 to 17 different groups. And in addition to that, we put $5,000 towards supporting CRB. And our funding requests for coming up, our meetings tomorrow night, will be finalizing grant decisions. It's for $82,911 with 17 different applicants, and that includes that $4,000 for swim lessons. And we have just under $70,000 to give away, but we'll just spread our money out to lots of volunteer organizations. What we're looking on for 2026 initiatives is to look around and see if there are any grant opportunities, either for a collective group like the Vorak grant was, or for just the rec district to pursue something. So we'll keep an eye out to see if we can't bring more money into the valley. We're going to work with towns, commissions, planning groups to make sure that valley-wide planning for trails is good for the environment. We are going to keep looking at existing youth sports scholarships and consider funding recommendations, but we also need to stay in touch with middle school sports. They recently at Harwood said they're looking for proposals that would cut support of middle school sports. So while the rec district can't promise anything and we can't fund all that's happening, we want to be in those conversations to see if there's ways that we could help. We want to fully integrate Moortown and implement our new strategic plan. So again, if you have any comments, but we're asking for level funding again, and thank you so much for your support. And if you want to pull the budget up, I guess questions on the things I just discussed.
Great work.
Yeah.
Thanks, yeah. We have a great board, we work together really well. We have 2 board openings right now, but we have 3 people wanting to join our board, so it's,
Remind me, Waitsfield's Bear Simmons and...
I'm sorry, no, it's an open position for,
No, I'm wondering,
Who are
jog
our,
my
Waitsfield
memory who
representative.
Luke Foley,
Oh, Luke, that's right.
and,
it was Bear.
Bear Simmons, yeah.
Yeah.
She's our vice chair, how could I forget? And she's also done a great job leading Mad River Park. So here's our budget. The 3 founding towns we're requesting the level funding at $40,000 each, then half for Moortown. You'll see that carryover from 2025, and because that Vorak grant was so big, we had to have some money as a backup in case things went over budget, because you weren't allowed to ask Vorak for any additional funds, and it was over the course of 3 years, and we were buying a bridge for $200,000, et cetera. So we had put money aside for that. Some of that carryover is also from early expenses for conservation, recreation, visioning that we paid for that we got back at the end of this. So our board will decide what to do with that, but some of that will go for enhancements to Mad River Park or more grant opportunities in the future for our partners. What else? Over on the right side, you see the Mad River Park budget. We have some, small income from the different youth sports groups, and we also have carryover there, and that's because we were the recipient of a Lawson's grant a couple years ago, so we are keeping that as a nest egg to do things. And we're going to research lights or bathrooms or potable water, things that could make it even better. So we have no commitments, but it's going to be a priority. So the other budget items have stayed pretty steady, and we're in good shape. We live within our means, and we have a little bit extra this year to consider something different, or just to give it out to partners. So, questions?
No, I really appreciated all the improvements over the last several years. The
Thanks.
softball field and soccer field, the new
Yeah.
shed and the bathrooms, and the field is amazing, so.
Yeah, one of the things we did, that I've been doing with the strategic plan, is I've had long conversations and write-ups from all of the recreation infrastructure folks. So, Couples Field and the stadium, and I'm talking to them about, what are their 5-year plans and dreams, so that we can, know what they're headed toward and support them in appropriate ways. So we're,
Thank you.
exciting times. Thanks.
Really quickly, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
York, are you sharing something on the screen right now that's a presentation that people can see?
Yeah, I mean, right now, are you
Okay.
seeing the budget?
Nope, I'm seeing your email.
Oh,
Well,
That is
it's the
so
same thing that's in the packet.
It's in the packet, Larissa,
Is it in the packet?
Yeah.
Okay,
Page-
sorry, I was looking for it.
page,
My apologies.
page 13
I mean, I even
of the
Thank
packet.
I didn't
you.
click the right thing to share. It's because it mirrors my computer downstairs, and so it's just hard. It doesn't always work well.
I just,
Hopefully
anybody
there's a
who's
good-
watching
hopefully there's
the
a good
video
email.
back for
That's good
any
to
reason
know.
might be a little confused, just FYI.
I was gonna ask, and I was like, I think this is good. I think I felt confident.
well,
Thanks,
if there are any follow-up questions.
I see it, okay,
happy
there we
to
go.
No,
answer.
I appreciate doing so much and asking for level funding.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, well, we're all taxpayers, right? In our different towns and in our federal taxes, and it's a time that things are tight. It's good to hold the line.
Well, I think everybody realized that we were underfunding recreation for a while, so we made a big jump a couple of years ago, and it
Right.
seems to have worked out really well.
Yeah, thank you, yeah. I think, it was a volunteer board until 5 years ago, when you guys helped to fund a position like mine, and I think that, great work of volunteer boards, but you need to have some staff to keep things moving, to do that extra research, to make some comparisons and things like that, so. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, have a good evening.
Thanks so much.
Next item, the village covered bridge inspection proposal.
So I met with Miles. He just showed up at the office one day a week ago.
What page is this on?
This is number 88 in the town administrator report. I'm not sure, I didn't print so towards the beginning. I mean, essentially, so first of all, he went to try to, if you remember when the covered bridge was closed,
Thank you.
it was to have Josh Rogers and his crew fix the parts that had been hit on the top, and that's fixed, and they put up the lights and the wreaths, it looks lovely. Miles tried to, adhere, what's the right word, connect the decking to the beams underneath.
Attach?
Like re-screw them in, but was unable because the beams underneath are too soft. He was suspicious that that might be the case. He spent, I think I mentioned a month or so ago that he did go there twice, 2 days in a row, to basically make a map of all the beams, and he just drilled into them and made a map of what's soft and what's not. He doesn't feel comfortable moving forward with a fix of those beams without a better inspection. At first, he wanted to see if V-Trans would re-inspect, and I did reach out to V-Trans, but I mean, they already inspected, and long story short, he feels that it would be worthwhile for him to inspect the bridge, his crew. He wasn't able to pull together a quote for me, like a written quote, but he told me it's about $1,750 would be the cost for him to do a thorough inspection of the bridge, so that we'd be more informed of how to move forward with the repairs that we know some are necessary, but, so that we're more educated on that.
I want that, yeah, and we still don't have the V-Trans inspection report where we can see the cells.
I've written them twice.
It's a very silly format to display the information in, which is an Excel cell that just shows the first 4 words.
I have asked,
A PDF of the Excel.
I did meet with, D&K about Meadow Road Bridge, which we'll talk about in a minute, and I talked to Bob Cook, who's an engineer, and they were adamant that the numbers should be right. I mean, it's math, it's science,
No, I
and
just-
right, but,
If you know what I'm talking about on the right-hand side, there
Yeah.
start to be explained.
Like the notes that explain things.
Yeah.
I will add that, and I think I put it in the administrative report, that all covered bridges are rated at 3 tons, period, if they're only wood. The only way you can bolster that number, like the Pine Brook Bridge, is if you add metal to it. I did talk to Miles about, like, would that be something that would be worth looking into? And he said, I mean, yeah, we could look into, some hidden metal I-beams, that could raise that, weight limit, if that was an interest. And that's separate from the 1750.
Sure. What's the approximate ballpark order of magnitude cost of that?
Which part?
The I-beams?
No idea.
No idea yet.
Okay.
No, that would have to be engineered,
Sure.
by
It would
an
be,
engineer.
Just, I was just asking how many
Huge.
zeros are we talking?
it's a long span.
Yeah.
It's a long bridge. Yep. I don't know.
Okay.
That would be, if the select board wants us to move forward with looking.
5
into that,
zeros
that
or
we-
6 zeros? That's
we
what I
can,
want to know.
Yeah,
6.
Yeah.
Do you think so?
I would guess,
No, no.
just because you'd have to mess with the
That's right.
foundation too, you can't.
that's right.
When do you think he would be able to get the report to you?
I don't know. I suspect he wouldn't do the fixes till spring anyway.
Well,
That's just a
I-
guess though. You didn't
yeah.
say
We
that.
would want a budget for it.
That's what I'm thinking, is we know
Yeah.
by the end of January.
Well, we did talk about that. I'm like, the sooner, that's why I tried to get him to give me a written quote, because he knows that the budget season's coming, and the more information we have sooner, the better. He seemed to understand that, but I don't wanna,
Can we include a time limit in the contract, or a report, report?
I'm
deliverable
comfortable to
by-
ask him. It depends on his schedule, it's last minute, like, we can ask if you wanna get it by second week of January.
You have what?
Or maybe, a creative contracting thing you could do is, if it's in our hands by a certain date, there's a bonus of $100 or $200 or something like that.
Yeah.
We have, I see from Steve's report, Josh and I asked Steve for fund balances, a fund balance report, and
Yeah.
as of October, we've got about $2,800 in the covered bridge repair fund, got a lot more in bridge and culvert. But I think we spent about 10 out of covered bridge repairs already this year.
Yeah, this fiscal year? I'm not sure it was
It
this
was last
fiscal year, I
fiscal
think it was
year.
last fiscal year.
And we haven't made contributions to that, the money that we put in that last year haven't been made yet, so that's why.
Right.
Yes, right.
But we have 322 grand and 23 grand in culvert bridge and repair. The broader, for culvert replacements and all.
Well, I find this really disturbing because if these timbers are soft and won't hold screws for the planking, those are the same timbers that are supporting the weight.
That's
And what that's telling me is those timbers are rotten.
And he did not call them rotten. He said,
They're
but
soft.
the one, this one, and if you drive under, you can see there's 3 boards that are a little popped up. And that's one of the reasons we knew is because the neighbors are bothered because it makes a lot of noise. Those are the only ones that he wasn't able to drill down and have it pull
Bite.
the decking back down.
Yeah. But they're the
I
load-bearing
mean-
timbers.
That's right.
Those are the timbers that support the load going over, and I find that really worrisome.
I mean, soft, rotten, whatever you want to call it, the material property of the thing holding the weight is significantly compromised, it sounds like.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
But honestly, I'd prefer Miles to do that inspection than state engineers, and nothing against the state engineers,
Yeah.
just that he's a timber frame
Yeah,
specialist.
Guru.
that
in all likelihood,
deals
he's
with
gonna
it
be
every
the
day.
main bid on any repairs.
I did talk to
Yeah.
Josh Rogers and Charlie Goodman, and they both were like, if we do work on the covered bridge, I highly recommend we have Vermont Heavy Timber do it.
Yeah.
Miles. Like, they just trust them.
Yep.
And they know some of the other players, and, you know.
Yep. So,
So do we want to authorize up to $1,800?
so move.
And second,
Can we,
Discuss?
right?
I guess I would authorize.
Now we can
well,
discuss to the second.
I would love to get something to make sure we get it as fast as possible for budget season. So I was just thinking about authorizing a little bit more and putting if we know when we need it, the report, to be able to budget, then putting that date with a bonus in the contract.
Yeah, if provided by X date, then
A timeliness bonus.
a timeliness bonus.
I'm wondering if we can, another approach, a hardball approach, we say, we'll do it if you can get it to us by.
That was my first thought, but,
Good
I-
luck. I'm
Yeah,
I'm just
I-
saying, I know
I didn't-
Miles
I-
relatively well now.
I didn't
and-
see an enthusiasm for where I was going from York, so I thought the
No,
bonus was.
it's not my call. I think it's a fine idea.
I just wonder honestly if he's gonna be motivated by $200 to,
Okay.
you know, he's got a lot going on, it appears.
I think he
He
is a
also likes-
relationship person though.
He likes this bridge and he likes the town
Yeah.
relationship.
And so I think if we're like, it would be really great if we could have it by the second week, does that sound about right? Second week of
Yeah.
January for the budget,
Mhm.
so that we can really build the most comprehensive budget possible. I think he would appreciate that. If it's possible, he would do it. I do
Will
believe,
he need to close the bridge to conduct the survey?
almost for sure.
Yeah.
Cause I was down there with him for a while when he was doing one of the drilling down into the beams. And, some cars are not very happy when you're standing there, it turns out.
Really?
Yeah, it was a little odd, actually. I was like, I'm in Vermont. Why are people so upset at me right now?
If no bonus, I would be stronger than we'd really like it. We really need it
Yeah.
by the second week, if at all possible, in order to get this problem solved in the next fiscal year.
And does that mean closing the bridge Christmas week?
That's a really good question. Is that our hope? Maybe we should close it
No,
Christmas
our
Day.
hope would be-
No.
Our hope would be he's out there Thursday morning. So the motion in a second, no amendment to
No
it?
discussion,
Do
yeah.
we wanna amend, just to say up to $2,000 or something, that
If it
gives
comes,
York
if it comes in,
latitude.
if it actually is 1,900, he doesn't have to come back to us, I'd be fine with that.
Yeah, and if he wants to sweeten it a little bit to try and get him to do it sooner, great, but
You okay with that, Fred?
I'm good. I'm good.
So we amended the motion.
Yep.
Any more discussion? All in favor? Aye?
I,
Okay.
That's good.
Did you wanna do the Meadow Road Bridge?
Yeah. So we added to the agenda a discussion on the Meadow Road Bridge. You'll see there was a proposal from Dubois and King to do it was a little confusing to me, an inspection, two-part inspection. The second part being to come up with a rehabilitation strategies, not necessarily design, correct?
That's right.
And I think we've all had some conversations about do we want to put money into rehabilitation, or do we feel as though we move beyond that and we need to start talking about replacement?
So I, after they were the only ones that sent the proposal, to the RFP. The RFP was worded that way because it kind of had to be for FEMA funding.
Yep.
So the first part of the proposal is FEMA funded for decking. The second part is, you know, can we bring this bridge, maybe not back and better than ever, but bring it back. They were really, I was thankful that they were willing to meet with me. 2 of their engineers met. And I said, I'm hesitant to, you know, recommend this to the select board because it's a lot of money. And is there a way that we can do a smaller proposal that would be a smaller site visit and give us an idea of the cost benefit analysis? And I gave multiple examples. It was like, you know, if we can bolster the weight 5 tons more, you know, and it costs X amount of dollars, that might really be worth it. But if it's a really large amount of money and it doesn't even raise the weight limit, but maybe adds 5 years, that might not be worth it. And so they said they're happy to give us a proposal that would basically be like a 2-hour site visit and a couple-page recommendation that would give the select board more information to say, yeah, this proposal actually would be worth it because it looks like the cost-benefit analysis will probably work out. They were hopefully going to get it to me by Friday or Monday, this smaller proposal, and they haven't gotten it to me. So I don't have, you know, that for you guys to act on tonight, unfortunately. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So the FEMA, the decking part, that would be reimbursed by FEMA?
Yes.
And you know, I keep forwarding you
I
these
know.
lingering
I know.
FEMA emails I
Keep them
get.
coming, I love it. To give information, Brian's talking about forwarding emails. This project runs out mid-January, but we are going to extend it because the culvert work is going to be done. And maybe the Meadow Road Bridge. There's a little, it's not overly clear because depending on the FEMA person I'm working with, which changes all the time, it's hard to really nail down how that reimbursement works, or even payment. If we don't end up working on the bridge, but we pay for the A&E, I'm not sure that's reimbursable. So let's say we do the A&E, we're like, okay, we spent $11,000 to do the A&E for the decking, but then we don't do the work, I think we would be stuck with that fee. So we only really want to do it if we're pretty confident, I think, that we're going to be able to put money in to the bridge beyond the decking to extend its life or up the weight limit.
Well, wouldn't just doing the decking satisfy that requirement?
Which requirement?
Yeah, maybe.
If they're willing to pay for damage to or assessment of the damage to the decking, we'd have to decide whether it's even worth, I mean, I would think, we're not gonna see a new bridge this winter, and
That's true.
having the decking, at least sealing it up as best as possible
Right,
would
so
be
it's not-
a good thing to do.
And I think that does include the rebar. I mean, it's a substantial amount of work.
But that would be a substantial amount of work.
It would, and should be paid for mostly.
By
And
FEMA.
maybe that would give some more weight to the bridge. I don't know. I don't know how the rebar and stuff, what that offers, but
Well, to do that, you're gonna have to remove the concrete.
that's correct.
You have to remove all the concrete. So now you get 2 crooked I-beams that span the river with girders that are rusted out. I mean, I hate to be pessimistic, but I just see this thing is gone. And I can't imagine an engineer's being willing to certify this with 2 I-beams that are swayed and girders that are, the webbing is rusted out and there's holes in them.
And an abutment that's crumbling.
And and another abutment that's being undermined, washed underneath. I'm very pessimistic about the whole thing. I just put money into this.
So I could see a scenario where we'd put limited money into that repair of the decking to kind of buy ourselves time to get the new bridge kind of designed and engineered and approved and permitted and funded, because that's gonna take, like, that wouldn't happen overnight. That's
That'll
probably
take a long
2 years out, right?
Well, I think the question is, do you continue to patch, or do you do a new deck which is gonna be a lot more expensive.
Yeah, so, right, so is that added cost worth it kind of to buy time to plan for their replacement and funding of a new bridge? Or do you open a Pandora's box, like as soon as you start, like an old house, as soon as you start taking a layer off, you find stuff you really didn't wanna find,
But we
and
should
we
probably,
risk the
stuff that we
bridge
should
being
probably know.
closed.
Yeah.
But stuff that we probably know.
Good point.
Difference between the house and the bridge.
Yeah.
You really wanna know about the bridge.
So with the kind of 2 hours, going over it with a fine tooth comb, would that answer the question of whether the decking is a viable option to buying time?
Yeah, I think so. I think it would do both. I mean, both section A and section B of the proposal. I think it would give us a better idea of what we're looking at. And maybe then, even if we're like, they may be able to say, you know what, yeah, section B, the 14,900 for the bridge rehabilitation, and that does say design, so maybe the design, I can't remember, is not worth it, but the FEMA funded A&E for the decking would be a good idea. And I'll check with FEMA and make sure that is possible. And move forward with maybe redoing that decking when spring comes. I mean, that would be great, unless, potential risk could be that trucking agencies decide that it looks pretty good and they start using it again, which would not be good.
Well, the decking isn't gonna do anything about
Exactly.
weight limit
Yeah.
or
But the
opening it up to
perception-
traffic or anything. The decking is just gonna make it so it's more comfortable to ride over.
And I just wonder if the perception of a trucking, if a truck is going down and they see it has a new deck, maybe they'll be like, oh, I can probably drive over that now, and that is a
Well, then we
risk
have to
that-
I think that's a risk. I think that there was a really good effort to communicate clearly with the people who are
Yeah.
most likely to do and think that, and there would need to be a renewed communication with those same folks
I-
to sort of give them an update, like, yes, it looks good, no, it is not any better, stay away still, please, and thank you.
This is where I come in,
What?
on the cameras.
Oh,
Are
yeah,
you
go
gonna talk
for
about, are
it.
you gonna talk about that?
No, you can, I said,
Oh, yeah, and-
please.
Well, I
feel
just
free
didn't
to
know
talk
when my
about
time
it.
was, it wasn't.
You can talk
Well,
whenever you
so-
want, it's your meeting.
So what are we
On the
gonna,
agenda.
what are you suggesting we have?
I'm
to
not
do?
suggesting, I think we should wait till they give us a proposal for for a smaller proposal
Okay.
for an initial visit.
Yeah.
So is that basically the section A, the FEMA A&E, or is that some smaller?
No,
even
they were
still?
supposed to send me something, it should be smaller.
Okay.
And then they said, it was basically, they created a 2-page report of what the possibilities are. And one of those possibilities may say, why don't we do the decking? There's no saving the bridge, like maybe Fred and our town engineer agrees with Fred. But he hasn't spent a couple hours really looking at the bridge.
So they'll go through the inspection reports carefully and
Which
go
they've
out.
already done a little bit, actually. But,
Yeah.
yeah,
So-
I recommend we wait for that proposal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in terms of like time management though, since we're not meeting again until the 5th, if this comes in tomorrow, this proposal that we were supposed to get Friday or Monday, and we've discussed it today, is it possible for us to like preemptively authorize somebody to say, yes, okay, if it meets certain, I don't wanna, this is another one of those, like, I don't want us to have to wait if there's something we're gonna have to budget for,
It's valid.
and we don't actually get critical information
agree.
until, well,
I think that's a good idea.
Is it likely they're gonna be on site between now and the first of the year?
That I can't say.
I mean, I'm fine doing that too, if you wanna.
I have no idea what the cost was gonna be. We did
Like
not talk about
authorize
that.
up to some dollar amount without further review or something?
Yeah, that may, should we?
Kinda hate to say that.
Yeah, I think
Open
that's,
session.
I think that's an executive session
Okay.
item just because of.
Contracts.
Yeah, contracts,
Yeah.
no open check.
Okay, so you wanna talk about cameras?
Yeah, I just done some research and, I am gonna I'm talking to someone else who has some ideas tomorrow, but I came up with, first my ideas was wildlife and hunting cameras, because they have cellular models that are pretty common. And that led me to Popular Mechanics, the website and magazine recommended this one called Tacticam Reveal. I went to their website and they actually also have a camera that's not camouflaged, it's not, designed for portability quite as much, but it is more of a security camera with cellular capability, and they have two of those. One is a fixed, it's fixed in place and aims at one spot, and then you would need to probably add a lithium battery pack and a solar panel to that. And then they have one that is adjustable remotely, so you can change where you aim it, and it has an integrated solar panel and lithium battery pack, and that's $199. And then the data plan for unlimited photos and unlimited live views, so you can look at it anytime, is $175 a year. And you can do less live views, like 5 live views a month for $120 a year. And so I called them and I talked to them about our needs. And so it's the Tacticam Defend 360, and I can send it around.
Great name.
Yes.
Go big or go home.
And so it's basically a hunting wildlife camera, but that can exist out in the middle of nowhere as long as you have 4G or LTE, which I gave him the address of the storage shed across the street, right at the intersection, and he said, based on their maps, we have coverage there, and of course there's I think a 30-day return in case it for some reason doesn't work.
Do you know what the range of them is?
The range of,
How far, I'm wondering.
like, how far do they can see?
How
Resolution
you
of
get
a
off
photo?
of Fred's porch?
I will look into that.
Then you get Wi-Fi.
My thought was that it would be kind of closer to the bridge and looking,
Yeah.
and if we want to get one or two, I think the general, for the Meadow Road Bridge at least, it's what is the traffic volume, and mostly are there really big trucks going over it, which we can see. The bridge in town is, when people run into it, we want to see that. So if we wanted to do that, it would be on either side. But
So about 2 weeks ago, I was talking to Eric Freeman in the chamber office, and they have a big screen that has the webcam. They have one at Sugar Bush and then the webcam at the bridge.
Yeah.
And I'm looking, talking to him, and I look up, and there's a big Lowe's truck. They pulled right up to the bridge and then turned around very slowly. And
Wow.
watched that happen. I don't know where he went. I hope he didn't go to Pine Brook, but.
Yep.
I've seen that, it wasn't Lowe's, but it was a similar, I think it was 2 moving trucks that were caravanning and then stopped and had to coordinate a elaborate retreat, which I'm glad they did.
York, did you have any luck with Google or Apple?
No.
Okay.
So-
Let me re-put that. I'm
So
sorry.
are you're not quite there with a package?
I can, well, what is do we need to, because it's an ongoing annual contract, we probably need to authorize that in the board session. I couldn't remember what our, I was gonna talk, I was recommended someone who works in this space that I haven't gotten to talk to yet, but this is the best recommendation that I have based on the research that I've done, which I was gonna.
And how and where would these get mounted?
That's the other question. I haven't been down myself.
The end of my porch.
Personally.
In my opinion, both bridges, the covered bridges have been hit twice.
Yeah, so
In
it looks
recent months.
looks like this has an integrated solar panel,
Yeah.
and then this swivels, and you can look at.
It's good, it looks
So-
intimidating.
What are we gonna do
We should
with
mount it.
They also sell signs that say like "Smiley on
Yeah.
camera."
Candid Camera? So what are we gonna do with this data once we get it?
Let's see,
So I've reached out to multiple people. One was recommended by VLCT, it's this guy Trevor, I can't remember his last name. There are some things we'd have to consider, like how the data's stored, that's people's personal data. So there's still some questions that are out there. Our lawyer also responded, thinking that he thinks it's possible. He would want to look into some state laws also. But also, and I don't think we should spend a lot of time on this, but also done some research on fines. And Lyndonville does pretty substantial fines. It's in their traffic ordinance.
It's in state statute too. They had to get it passed because it's different than the standard.
I mean, theirs are like $5,000, $10,000
Yep.
limits. So that's pretty interesting, and it looks like we can put that in our traffic ordinance, even if we decide not to do weight limits. We could do that, make sure the height limit is clear in our ordinance. In which case, the sheriff's department, I would coordinate with them. I did write our Captain Meyer of the sheriff's department, and he didn't respond to my question. It's been a couple weeks that I wrote about the cameras and the height, but if we decide to move forward, then I'll have to coordinate with the sheriff's department.
Okay.
So this is further discussion on the 5th?
I guess
if the select board wants to move forward with it, then I'll pressure a more immediate response from the sheriff's department and then Briya.
Yeah, I guess I
think
didn't
there's an
realize
answer.
those questions were still outstanding. The chamber has a live webcam looking at the covered ridge that.
It's not recording though.
Right, but it's not like that recording is somewhere public.
Right.
And these videos, and I think, or not videos, but mostly pictures is what we would be getting with the data plan that we would sign up for. We could also do live looks, but we'd get pictures sent to us. And that would live on an app or web portal that they have with a password and things like that. And so I'm not sure if that.
This is what Trevor wrote. Another challenge of making recordings as part of a municipal business is the storage and retention of them as public records. You also have to be prepared to make them available for inspection or potentially providing copies to members of the public under a Public Records Act request. And I don't see that as a reason not to do it, I don't think.
Yeah, and the data, the data plan that they offer are 60-day cloud storage, so.
Aren't the cameras on the building and in the vault, are they recording?
I think so. I wonder if we have a policy on that. Because I was going to say, if we decide to do these
Look
cameras.
inside the house.
Well, if we decide to do the cameras, we probably should have a policy,
Yeah.
to respond to the
Well,
things Trevor brings
and
up.
if we're collecting data now, we should have a policy.
We probably should have,
Yeah.
and we might, but I have not seen it if we have one.
I sincerely doubt that we do, but
Jennifer had a grant opportunity for voting security, basically, and when we authorized the cameras without, I don't think, thinking through whether there was any implications for the town policy.
How would they?
I'm pretty sure that,
Sorry, go ahead.
so you should be able to, I helped Jen with setting up the iPad for that, which is sort of there's like a town-owned iPad. And that's how you access
Well, you
at
can
least
also-
some of the app
Jen
that
has it
she
on her phone.
used.
And Jen has it on her phone, and she sent me the link for me to put it on my phone, I just haven't done it.
I have it on my pad, I don't think I have it on my phone.
Or, wherever you want it. Sorry, Larissa, I cut you off, but.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, above and beyond, and you can go back because we used it once when there was a lost dog. And we're trying to find it, because we heard it ran across, and so we looked and found it running across the farmer field behind the office. So.
The long and short, we should probably have a policy of some sort. We're already doing something along these lines.
Yeah.
And some years ago, I looked into a traffic speeding camera that would record license plate, all that stuff. And that, I found out, was flatly outlawed in Vermont. You could not have one.
They're everywhere in Tennessee, but they're not enforceable.
And
You can just rip the
Think
bill,
that-
comes to you, and rip it in shreds.
they are enforceable here in Providence. I have gotten a ticket.
Yeah.
But I was found out in Vermont they're illegal. So
give
I
tickets.
don't know how that would really dovetail into this, but,
I think that's to give tickets based on them, not
so once again, what are we gonna do
not
with
data
the,
collection.
once again, what are we gonna do with the
Again,
information?
Trevor wrote, as always, there are
Right.
challenges, and in this case, enforcement officer would need to apprehend the offender in order to issue the citation, which, I mean, I think there is a path forward if the select board wants to.
Yeah, and the trooper that I talked to said it is not probable cause, but it's, reasonable suspicion if we know who it is, we can go talk to them and say, please don't do this again, or was this you?
So that's
Was
the
this you,
intent.
and please don't do this again, is what they can say.
Mhm. So that's the intent, just call the individual
Well,
and say, please
the
don't.
first thing is for us to know, so if it's getting trucks that are 20 tons driven over it all the time, that means we probably need to close the bridge unless we can stop that.
We can't enforce that. I mean, the sheriff's department can't enforce that, whether they can enforce it from the camera, I don't know.
Yeah, and the second, which is more uncertain for me, is what level of actual enforcement can we do using the data we collect?
If nothing else, if there's a pattern in terms of time of day,
Right?
we
Yeah,
could direct.
Exactly, it gives us more information. Is it happening? Is it before dawn,
Well, you already got a monitor down there.
Yep.
It's vigilant,
Yep.
pretty much during the daytime hours.
Okay. I see what you're saying.
I got the pictures to prove that.
And I
Okay,
can,
can I ask that we decide what we're gonna do on this and move on? I'm sorry.
may I complete my sentence?
8:20.
And I can tell you the traffic of all types has really diminished. And I have only seen one truck that would be what I would consider overweight, that was Home Depot, go across the bridge. I mean, I have not seen, not agricultural trucks on Meadow Road hardly at all, or at all.
So,
Is that seasonal or?
The ag trucks,
Yeah.
now, George has been going back and forth over it the last few weeks, which is illegal, he's allowed to do.
Yeah.
But that's about the only large trucks I have seen. I mean, traffic on that road has really, really markedly dropped.
hearing your point, Larissa, York, are we interested, and you expressed some interest in having something similar like this for the covered bridge, right?
If there's a
Yes.
way that when it gets hit, we
Yeah.
can enforce it being hit, since, I mean, Fred's brought it up a few times, a fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I think so. I don't know where you attach the cameras, if they give you direction when you talk to them. But, I mean, if it means that we can enforce if the bridge is hit, that would interest me.
So I guess what I would suggest is that we authorize, we don't pick a specific model or exact data plan right now, more research to be done and, with more legal questions to be answered. But assuming those are answers reasonably as we expect, to authorize, let's say he wants 2 cameras, that would be about a little over $400, and then the data plans would be $175 each. So I was gonna say we authorize up to $1,000 combined for combined camera and data plan contracts for town bridges.
Do we need 2 at either end of the covered bridge, or just 1?
I see you need to.
So, and again, this can be decided later, but
Yeah, I'd say so.
1,200. That would cover if each one is a $400 chunk of camera and data plan contract. I don't think so that would cover it, 1,200. Would cover 3 cameras. at this price point. Of course, if there's something else, we'd have to come back. But I think that amount would definitely cover one for the Meadow Bridge, which is the public safety facing
I
problem.
wonder if we could start with one and
See how it works.
see how it works, because we do have pretty good eyes on the village bridge. The last folks who hit it, we got a picture of the license plate.
Did we do anything with that information?
I
think
gave it
so.
to the sheriff's department and they were reaching out, they knew who the organization, the business was that hit it. And I've called Deputy Hart twice last week and then I called him again today, he has not responded.
I think that's a perfectly fine, yeah.
Okay.
So I guess I'd bring it back down to 500 if we just wanted to authorize one.
Yeah. For the motion,
Make that motion.
second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks. Move on to the Wake House leases. I did see Anne Marie on the Zoom.
Thanks for your patience.
Yes.
Oh, I'm just very grateful that you were able to squeeze me in on the agenda. But it is December and we'll be releasing the new leases for the January leases, and the commission has proposed terminology to change the leases. What York put into the packet was a recommended 2% increase starting on July 1st, which is the fiscal year. The commission thought that if we started it in July rather than in January, it would lessen the blow of what we did to them last year with such an enormous rent increase. But it is the decision of the select board. The commissioners and the tenants all realize that this is the town's building, so it is completely up to the select board whether to increase the rents or to not increase the rents and when to increase the rents. I'm happy to report that so far for this fiscal year, beginning in July 1st, the rents are covering the expenses. With the exception, we were $447 short. So for all intents and purposes, the current rents are meeting the requirement of covering the direct expenses. If we had increased it by 2%, maybe we would become even closer. So the choice before the select board is to either begin on January 1st with the increases or wait till the fiscal year to do 2%, or we also recommend having it an annual increase on July 1st to the annual inflation rate, which at the moment is 3%. So we put out 2%, but we are promoting, we can do 3%, whatever is the select board's, whatever they desire. And then one other thing I'd like to add is that York and I sat down with Steve recently and discovered that in the reserve, we have over $70,000.
Yay.
After payment of all the summer's work.
Yep.
In what, is it in the lease that future leases are, or is it just a general principle that future rent increases will be tied to inflation? And where do you get and where does the inflation number exactly come from, the general inflation?
We're proposing to make that change in the lease. The lease currently does not have any kind of increase in it,
Okay.
or recommendation or anything. So we are recommending that we add the terminology in the lease that it would, the rents would increase annually based on the federal annual inflation rate. I'm interested in hearing feedback on better wording than that.
So the intention was for the rents to cover operating costs for the building. I don't know that that would necessarily track exactly with inflation. It might. I'm more inclined personally to sort of see, especially as improvements are made to the building, like supposedly this new roof that was put on is going to make it a little bit more energy efficient, things like that. I'd be inclined to, rather than make it something automatic, make it something that's informed by data that are specific to the building and its needs, especially since these are, community partners that are serving our community and are responsible for implementing components of the town plan that the town doesn't do directly. Those are my 2 cents. I also want to acknowledge that this has been a significant year of transition and that there were a lot of bumps as is always true when there is significant change, and I wouldn't mind the town hitting pause on increases for this year, just in acknowledgement of the fact that it was a little bit of a rough rollout. That's just me.
Well, if we did so, may I?
Yeah.
If we did so, then next year we'd have to increase by 5 or 6% in order to stay nearly current.
Would we though, necessarily?
The increases this year are basically an average of $8. Friends of the Mad River would take the largest increase, which would be $12, and the others are $9 and $8 and $6. So we aren't talking about huge amount of money, but it allows us to stay current or near current without, excuse me?
No, go ahead.
Without big bumps in the road that, like you just mentioned. If we wait till next year, we make up the 2% that we didn't get this year, and 3%, you're talking about the average being close to $30 increase. So, this is a way of evening things out, evening out the bumps. It's much like our reserve funds. We want a new fire truck, well, we do so much every year, put in the reserve fund, so it isn't a big bump all at once. It's just to keep us current and even out the...
Well, I have a question for York.
Yeah.
The history, before there was a commission, was that the General Weight House simply had no money. And the rents were so low that the bills had to be paid by the town, and they were not covered by the rents. My question is, that $447 that was short, I hope that that's coming out of the General Weight House Reserve Fund and not the town's general fund. But I don't know the answer to that.
It is coming out of the town's fund, not the reserve.
So is there a way that we can make that switch? And I would be all for not having an increase in rents and having the reserve fund cover the difference in the direct expenses for this year, and then start clean with the federal annual rate of inflation the following year, whatever it is, 3, 2, or 4%.
I would there's 2 questions. I would rather not have, we're gonna automatically increase it by the rate of inflation. We can make that, the board can make that decision, because it might not be inflation related, it might be other expenses that are particular to the town that we need to cover, or there might be significant cost savings that have a surplus. So I guess I'd just rather be able to review leases on an annual basis. The other thing, what was the other thing? Just the idea about not having public dollars into it.
Yeah.
It kind of always bothers me when we talk about the tenants have to pay for it, because there's a public aspect to the building. It is a public restroom that the tenants aren't responsible
Yep.
for. That's what the town took on as a responsibility, to have a public restroom for visitors. So, I think the town could legitimately has some expenses that we ought to be covering for those public benefits that aren't specific to the tenants.
And the museum, and I would probably argue the dining room.
So we are doing that now because we're in deficit of $440. So we're doing that
Yeah.
now.
And I'm just wondering, there's the roof, we have a new furnace, which hopefully is more efficient than the last one. And then we don't have that monthly phone bill for the alarm?
Yep, the alarm
How
was
much was
about
that?
$1,400-ish, and it's gonna take less than 14 months to reimburse that cost. That's how much cheaper the cellular version is. It's a remarkable savings. I wish we had done it earlier.
I would advocate that we have a policy that we look at
Yeah,
annually, not embed it into the lease.
yeah.
But so that we can plan and so the tenants can plan, that is our policy, that we're gonna look at it annually and the tenants can anticipate a increase annually.
I agree.
I'll just point out one more thing. 2 of these, Friends of the Med River and Mad River Path, a pretty large part of their rents are the connector space, which is outdoors, which really doesn't have a cost to it. In terms of like heating, alarm, cleaning, like none of that goes to that. I would suggest that whenever, in my opinion, if we're looking to cover costs, there's no cost to the connector space. That the increase would go just to the rents for the office space, not the connector. That's just a thought.
I also thought that the connector space, I thought that was 75 cents per square foot. I thought that's what we'd landed on. Am I misremembering?
No, that's right.
The leases
That's
that
not,
are,
It's not marked that way.
yeah, the leases that
that's not
are,
reflected.
the leases
Sorry,
that
I
are,
couldn't hear you.
the leases in our packet do not reflect the changes that we made after the signature of the lease.
Oh, I'm sorry, I just put the
Understood.
ones in that Anne Marie had sent me, sorry, and that's,
Yeah.
I'm not,
Mhm.
that's my fault, I should have checked, because I do have a more current one.
We changed it.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
75
Okay.
cents.
Yeah.
We increased the square footage for the connector space, originally it was just the wall, now it's the whole. Yeah, if you guys want that, I can send that to you, the updated ones.
So what would folks like to do? We should probably
Yeah.
move on.
Well, York, if you could send me the updated ones
Yep.
so that the commission can have it on record, and then I can make the changes to the leases in terms of changing the date,
Okay,
and then I can submit the new leases.
okay. Yep, that may have been my fault, I may have never sent it to you. I'm
So
happy to do
is-
that.
Are there any strong objections if we did, because we have these various savings, have a policy of reviewing it every year and maybe level funding it this year with the expectation that it might go up 4% next year as we get real costs in?
That's fine.
I oppose that. I think in the fact that we're proposing that we increase the rent 2% starting in July. So we're only asking for 6 months worth of increased rent, which is like $5 or $6. So we're not asking,
Well, it's $72.
excuse me?
Monthly, that's a monthly rent increase.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Check. No, I think we should increase it by 2% starting 1 July, excuse me.
It feels odd to me that we have a annual lease from January 1 to December 31, but we're proposing a rent increase halfway through.
He was trying to be
lease.
sensitive.
Can we just do
Just try,
can we just
Can we
do a
just wait?
6-month lease, or extend this lease for 6 months, and then in the next few months, should our lease not be on a calendar year basis if it's gonna be, or do we need a calendar year lease?
I mean, the
think it's
reason that might be nice is then we
cleaner.
can really see how we're doing with cost. I mean, right now, with less than $500, the rents are more than covering costs, really, if you consider the cleaning fee for the museum, the dining room, and the bathrooms, which
Okay,
is
I got
a
it.
big part
Thanks.
of the cleaning fees, actually. Because they clean the bathroom twice a week, and then, actually, the cleaning fees don't actually clean their space at all, except the bathroom upstairs, which now I think about is over $5,000 a year. And that's really to clean the public spaces of the general warehouse, which is, now I think about it, something that is really a lot of money.
Cool.
Yeah,
My only, I agree with Fred that it's good to have a steady, low increase, but my only worry was the simplicity of, this seems complicated to have a mid-year rent increase on part of the square footage, so that, if that can be worked out, and we know the numbers, then I'm fine with that. But
You'd advocate starting 1 January?
no, on what the commission proposed, as long as the numbers can be worked out and identified correctly in the leases that we have.
The more I think about cleaning, I think we need to relook at the numbers, in my opinion. Because the cleaning fee is mostly to cover the public areas that the town is paying for and the renters are not paying for, which is the bathrooms, the museum, and really those two things are the majority of the cleaning fee, which should be the town's obligation, I think is what I heard Brian say. But really, that cost has been passed on to the renters.
Part of it.
Part of it, I mean, before 2 years ago,
Sure.
it wasn't.
Yeah.
I'm fine with part of it being passed on.
so what I'm hearing is a proposal that we modify these leases that will begin January 1st and say the lease will end. It will be a lease from January 1st until July 1st. And then starting in July 1st, the leases will be every fiscal year.
I think that creates uncertainty.
Yeah, I wasn't advocating that, I was just saying, is that something that we wanna do, rather than have a 6-month step up here, but what were you saying, Brian?
No, I was saying I didn't want to do that either.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it feels like it was a challenge to get all the tenants to sign the leases and get on this annual schedule of January 1 to December 31. So changing that just feels like we're pulling the rug out again and uncertainty and stuff. I would advocate we stick with the Jan 1 to December 31.
Okay?
I don't feel strongly, honestly, either way, whether it's we do 2%.
Can I
in
propose
July
1%
or-
for the full year?
I think the challenge is the full year starts,
Well, it
next year
should have been
starts in 2
3%. We
weeks.
settled on
Well,
2.
but 1% is the same
It's
number.
the same as 2% for
Well, that's true. Okay, yeah.
To me,
Just doing some funky math.
the challenge is if we stick with January 1 to December 31, we need to be having this conversation with tenants in October. So
Okay.
if they can't handle the rate increase or don't want to stay or whatever, we're giving them ample notice. I don't feel personally we can go to them and say, hey, rate increase starting in a week, on Jan
Right.
1. It just doesn't feel
That's
like.
why
Okay.
it needs to be a policy that
Okay.
Yeah.
we want to,
That's really well
Review it.
articulated. So,
So
I'd go with 1%, yeah.
to be like, forgo the rent increase for this year, or if you want to start something on July 1st, that's a little complicated and fussy to me for not much gain in rent. But that's just me. If others want to go for it, go for it.
Go ahead, Larissa.
But I do like Fred's idea of sort of having some sort of policy that's baked into the lease as to when tenants can reasonably expect to know what, how, and if their rent is going to increase. I feel like even though our budget season technically isn't until January, if we can put it into our select board calendar that in October, we will be reviewing leases and sort of cost assessing what rents will be for the following calendar year, so that renters have enough lead time to make informed decisions. That would be great by my,
Yeah.
I would love to see that.
Makes sense.
So what I'm hearing is, and willing to make a motion, that we have a lease starting 1 January, ending December 31st, with a 1% increase in rent.
And Marie, are the tenants, are the tenants aware of this, of the White House Commission's recommendation?
Yes, that's an excellent question. Luke sent out an email to all the tenants. Fred, correct me if I'm wrong, the only tenant that responded was Misha, and he said he had no problem with it.
That's, yes, that's correct. What I understand also.
But the one that was sent out was, okay, so.
The one that, what
It was a
Luke
total of
sent
2%
out
for the, yeah, go ahead.
was that we were going to be recommending a 2% increase beginning in January 1st.
July 1st.
You mean July 1st?
July 1st, I'm sorry. And the reason for July 1st was to take it easy on them because their increase was so huge the year before. I would be all for if we wanted to not increase their rents at all this year and put it on the calendar for October to begin and to have it baked into the lease, a annual increase of whatever you want, 2% or whatever the annual, those are the two options. Just do it consistent 2% or base it on the federal annual rate of inflation.
So I definitely think we should have a policy of
When we look at it.
evaluating the lease. I don't think we want to tie it to any one data set, because there's many variables could affect.
Yeah, just real quick on that, there's no federal rate of inflation, there's CPI, PP, PCE, and we didn't collect any data for that the last 2 months.
And then there's
Yay.
Vermont specific
Yeah, exactly.
variables that can impact the rate as
Right.
well. There's insurance.
And then there's like hyper local, like whether or not the furnace actually manages to save a decent amount of money and what sort of energy cost savings we're getting from the new roof and things like that too.
Yeah, I'd be comfortable with the policy goal, it doesn't need to be written down, or we can write it down if we want, but that our goal is to mostly keep up with expenses minus some reasonable portion that the town is covering for the public spaces, and we're not gonna, or if I was on the select board in future years, I wouldn't vote for a huge rent increase just to make money, you know?
Yeah, the whole point was to avoid what we did before.
Okay.
Yeah.
The whole point was so that we wouldn't come here 15 years later and say, whoop, now we need to increase rents.
No,
That's what we did before, and we don't want to do that again.
I think we're all in agreement. It's just a matter of how soon we need to act, given the cost savings that we're likely going to realize my preference would be we level fund it, but could go with a small increase if that's what the rest of the board would like to do.
Yeah, actually, the existing lease says landlord reserves the right to increase the rent payment once per year at the beginning of each annual lease term with 3 months prior written notice to the tenant.
Oh, it says it 3 months, okay.
Yeah,
So we really would have to do it July 1 if we wanted to raise it this week. This year.
yeah, we've kind of.
Yep, that's it. Thank you for reading the lease.
I think I wrote that.
So what would folks like to do?
I think if the committee wants to set the precedent of a kind of a annual rent increase, and it says so in the lease, we missed the window, but starting July 1, if that's your guys' recommendation, then it's kind of consistent with what's in the lease. It's not enough money that I think people are gonna
No.
move out. So fine with me if that's your, if it were me, again, I would just wait till next year because we kind of missed the window, but if I appreciate the committee's thought that they put into it, if you guys want to do the 2%
I
in
don't
July.
feel, I don't feel strongly, but I recognize, yeah. Fred, what would you think about, like, really, you know, it's okay that if we level fund it this year and have it be more like a 4% next year? Is that, I realize that is, but as long as it's expected.
4%, no, I would, as Charles just verbalized, I'd go for a 2% starting in July.
I was saying nothing this year and have a kind of expectation that it would be more in the 3 or 4% range in 2027.
Yeah, I'm pretty certain that we've significantly reduced the operating costs for the building.
Yeah, and maybe we don't need to increase it that much in 2027.
I mean, we don't want to get behind, but if we pay attention every year, we'll know whether we're losing ground or not.
Correct.
There's also, I don't think, any revenue coming in from the outbuildings yet, correct? That was like part of the
That's true.
plan was,
And there won't be for oil.
okay.
So there's two,
I guess I think the simplest is to not have a rent increase this year, given all the back and forth, and I would have a higher one that we consider next year if we need to.
I'd rather avoid having a higher one next year.
I understand. It's just we missed the window this year to notify them of
For
a
1
rent
January.
increase, yeah.
Yeah,
We can't start it in July.
it does sound like you sent communication to the tenants saying July 1, 2%, and
If it's doable in the lease, I really don't feel strongly anymore.
like if it's already been communicated, it almost feels more topsy-turvy to then, just kidding.
No, well, we did say that it's completely up to the select board, so if we wanted to decide now not to increase their rents this year and, make a point of addressing it in October, especially considering that there may be, cost savings ultimately because of the new roof and the new furnace, I would support that completely. And then we just address it in October. Don't say we're gonna do
We've already-
2%, don't say 3% or 4%.
We've already laid the.
Whatever, just have it a fresh new topic of conversation in October.
Fred,
I agree with Josh. We've laid the foundation. We've laid the work out. I would make a motion that we increase the rent 2% starting 1 July.
is there a second?
Second. So we need to have a lease that says those things with the correct numbers. That's returning to my previous point, that's the hard part.
And there won't be an automatic, I mean, that's easy enough.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. And that we will reassess in October.
Yes.
That's not,
Okay.
it doesn't need to be part of the motion, but that's our understanding.
Great.
That's our
Okay.
policy.
Yeah, okay. Any discussion otherwise? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Okay, so,
Okay.
thank you, Anne Marie, and the commission.
Thank you.
Thanks, Anne Marie.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you very
Anne Marie.
much.
So, Fred, you asked for a fire department review to be on the agenda.
Yeah. I was very taken with our field trip last week. I thought we got some really valuable information.
And just to add to that, I was really impressed with the leadership team of the
Yeah.
fire
I
department.
was
Likewise.
too. And I'm so pleased to hear the number of volunteers that we have over there. Was it 26? I think I heard.
25 or 26, yeah.
Yeah, we're very fortunate to have that many dedicated volunteers.
My first year, I remember asking, first year I was on the board asking, I think it was Tripp at the time, and it was like 19 or 20, and people felt really good about it,
Yeah,
so.
Well, they've done some team building stuff and esprit de corps type of stuff, and they get some people over there that are getting trained up and everything. We're very fortunate to have that number.
They just responded to a call last night.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
And very happy with them.
yeah. Other fire
There was a
depart-
great little article, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Larissa.
Oh, I was just gonna say that there was a little write-up in, I think, Lisa Loomis's write-up, or little op-ed piece in the Valley Reporter about getting to, the fire station was toured, and then immediately after that, basically, they had to respond to a hazmat situation, and that it was sort of theory and practice all in one, and that it was, I'm sorry, I wasn't there to see it. It sounded, it sounds like the team that, we appreciate that.
Yeah.
It was, I imagine that was quite entertaining.
That's great.
No, but I think we have great folks working there, and that they're doing a really good job.
But one of the take-home message I think we all got is we're gonna need a new fire station sooner rather than later. I mean, the number of things that they enumerated that was wrong with that building.
There's not enough duct tape in the world.
No.
Nope.
Baling twine or anything. I know a couple of us have talked about maybe co-locating a new fire station with the town garage. And I was wondering if it would be worthwhile to have Bread Loaf do some back of the envelope numbers, ideas, at co-locating those two public facilities there. I think there's an economy of scale if both facilities were there. There's a lot of questions, is there enough room or anything? Yeah, I'd like, maybe us discuss Bread Loaf taking a look at what would it look like to have both facilities at the same location?
Yeah, I mentioned that to the, Jared and a couple of the other guys.
It was
They were
lukewarm.
lukewarm at best.
Yeah, that's right.
And, I kinda hate, I like having this civic infrastructure in the village, but there's arguments in favor of it. I imagine Josh and Charlie would probably be lukewarm at best too.
I would assume so.
But I do think it would be reasonable to know whether it's feasible or not.
Yeah. And for the fire department to deploy, it's really makes some tactical sense at that location. Because then they could deploy directly up North Road and Common Road, or Trombley Road and Route 100. Now, to get to some places up on the Common Road, they gotta travel all the way down
Yeah.
to
They gotta go the wrong direction for a while.
yeah, so, yeah, exactly, you gotta go backwards in order to go forwards. So that tactically deploying the fire apparatuses would make some sense at that location on Trombley Road.
Yeah, I know, I think it's a good idea. I don't think we need to make a decision tonight. We should ask Bread Loaf when they start gearing up what it would take, and I think we've got, the cost that they're, so far is so reasonable, I don't think they're gonna charge us a whole lot to take a look at doing some schematics. And we need to talk to Josh
Yep.
and Jared and them and really make sure that we understand what kind of, some of the potential conflicts.
Yep.
But just having that information, having an informed discussion would be very much worth it.
Yep.
So I think we can wait until we
Agreed.
start up with Bread Loaf and ask them what it would take.
And
And we need to get a little bit of program information out of the fire department on what their needs are.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the other track, figuring out what the capital needs of the current station are to
Yes.
either repair, or improve, or rebuild that.
Well, that's, yeah. I'd
Just
like
how
to-
much duct tape?
Yeah, I'd like to see what that list of violations is.
Yeah, I'd love to see that.
I mean, we have the passive inspection, but I don't know if we're gonna get the, I think I asked Jared, the chief, if he wanted me to reach out, and I don't think at this point, I have not reached out to the fire
Yeah.
commissioner.
I thought there was a reason for not being circulated.
Yes,
Okay.
for sure.
It's kind of like your old house.
That's like the Meadow Road Bridge.
Yeah, better just not to know.
So, yeah, we can do that when the
Yeah.
time comes. We should have, we're gonna be meeting with, Charlie and Josh
Yeah.
soon about the budget, so we
Yeah.
can deal with it.
Right.
Yeah.
Feels like with Red Loaf, there's not a significant time constraint for them, so if we ask them to expand the scope a little bit, it's not gonna mess us up from a timing,
Yep.
trying to hit a deadline perspective, so that's positive. Does feel like we're gonna need to plan for some investment in that space.
Yeah.
In the
Yeah.
interim, it's gonna be several years anyway before
Yeah.
a
Yes.
new building, wherever it is, can be built.
Yeah.
If they need a new
Electrical panel.
panel and a heating system, they
$3,000
don't have to
heating.
check in on
Heating.
every day,
Yeah,
Yeah,
that has to happen immediately.
Yeah.
yeah, that would be great
Yeah.
if we could know that sooner than later, so we can build it into the budget.
Yeah.
But I really would like to put a push on getting that report.
Okay.
Okay, is that good? So, we have some executive session stuff to do, which also hits on the budget, so I'm gonna kinda go a little bit quicker than I think I had thought. We haven't done a lot of, we've just started doing the kind of legwork on the budget. Josh and I met with York last week to kind of review, I met with him to review the budget and last week to review the capital budget and kind of the process involved. We're starting to schedule meetings to put some numbers together by January. We're meeting with the fire department and maybe we can meet with Charlie and Josh.
I
sooner
mean,
than
Charlie
later.
Josh may even be Wednesday, right?
This Wednesday?
Maybe.
I'd like that.
Okay.
I can do that.
yeah,
Yeah.
I responded to, so I think,
Okay. But I did ask York to put out their budget principles that we adopted a couple years ago, just to take a look at that and see what changed. One thing that jumped out at me was the last, let me get down to it.
what page is that in our packet? I'm trying to
Looking
find
for
it.
Are you looking at the principles or the,
Principles.
The principal,
that's, page 14 and 15?
Oh,
thank you.
way down there.
Okay. Sorry, 14 and 15?
Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
Or that has York's memo, budget principles.
Yeah. And it's, second sentence should probably say FY '26. But the last one, plan for building maintenance, I think we need to strengthen that we've got to deal with some long-term deferred maintenance issues.
Deferred maintenance, yeah.
Really focus on the need to improve vital infrastructure.
Okay.
You know, our discussion we just had, we're not just maintaining the fire station, we're not gonna be maintaining the Meadow Road Bridge, we're not gonna be maintaining the town garage, we're gonna be replacing them, and that's a more significant budget consideration than having a maintenance plan.
Yep.
So I'm not sure what that wording would look like, but that was the one that really. The other thing is you did take out the reference to the ARPA funding, which was
So, I mean, we could strengthen that point four to say plan for building, maintenance and replacement, and update the language below it somehow to strengthen that. Because I think, I agree, planning for building maintenance sounds like it's gonna be, you know, 5 or 10 grand here and there, and we're talking millions of dollars for some of these building replacements.
It's also maybe worth reordering, even if the priority is in no particular order. I think when people are looking at it, the things that are higher priority, a little bit closer to the top might be good.
Agreed. A related comment I had focused on how we're gonna pay for these new buildings would be beefing up number 2, which is
Yeah.
advanced financial sustainability and resiliency. One thing I would suggest we add to that would be seeking additional revenue sources. And clearly I'm talking about the local option tax as a way to fund some of these.
But I think also just seeking out grants wherever possible.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
town
yeah.
took
Revenue sources.
kind of took a stop from seeking out grants for a while, but I don't think that's in our best interest now.
Yeah.
So maybe just diversifying our revenue sources.
Yeah, perfect.
So we could, and could work with you on that, York, we could do this for the next meeting.
Okay. Yeah, that
Um,
sounds
Just
great.
looking at item 5, so this just reminds me, because I have no short-term memory, I'm gonna jump on it really quickly, the prioritized work plan items. It did occur to me that I'm kind of an unpredictable variable for January, and that at the moment I'm one of the people that has access to the sort of monday.com work plan, and I would propose that we remove me
Okay.
and add Brian and or Dave, whoever would like to be on that. But I think that that is come again.
Who's on it right now?
I'm not sure that would be an Ask York. I know I was on it at the outset and have not been.
We just have the free version, so it's just.
So there's only 2?
I mean, at some point, the paid version is the things you can do with it is crazy. Like it's way above and beyond an Excel sheet. Like right now, we're using like Excel.
But otherwise,
If you are happy to do it, you're welcome to.
great, all right.
Dave has been at it.
Which I think you have to remove me first so that it doesn't try to.
Yes.
Okay, great. Just that.
In my notes, remove Larissa and add Dave.
Okay, super. That was
Big-
all I
big
wanted to add.
No, you're right. And I have updated. I mean, a lot of things now say done. I mean, the things that we have accomplished in a pretty short amount of time is pretty awesome. So review it whenever you want. I mean, the link is always live, the link that I've shared multiple times.
It would be a good idea to circulate it before the next meeting, because we are gonna be talking about specific line items at that point.
Okay, that's a good
Um,
idea.
So let's do this before the next meeting, let's do that. Change over Larissa on York,
Yep.
and I will. And then we'll circulate the link and make sure it's as up to date as we can, me and York,
I can't wait.
I got your number, York.
So,
No, I got your number.
The lot update, I've had some conversations with, for example, Eric Friedman about how to do some outreach to the business community. One thing we talked about was the possibility of doing a survey to see how businesses would feel about things and doing some other outreach. Josh Schwartz, Marissa, Josh updated the memo estimating revenue and who would pay for it for a town by town.
So essentially what Josh Schwartz did was, or he and Sam started off by doing this kind of higher level valley-wide assessment as part of the sort of Waitsfield LOT subcommittee meeting, tasking him with doing a more focused look at Waitsfield. It's pretty clear from looking at what he's put together so far that there's a lot of data that we know that is available from like the Department of Taxes, and then there are a number of things that are, matters that we can reasonably predict depending on what assumptions we make. So based on a number of assumptions that Sam and Joshua made about predicted spending and predicted, makeup of folks in our town and people visiting, they put together some numbers. I know that there have been some exploration of other ways that we can make assumptions and predictions based on that known information. And that is all sort of the fine tuning of that methodology, I think, is still getting worked out. So I know that there is a revised version of the white paper. I don't think it is sort of finalized, rubber stamped, but I do know that it's in the works and will hopefully be available to look at soon. And I think that, the subcommittee that has met a couple of times, we've been talking about how we want to sort of engage with the public on this. Brian is sort of taking over the helm as I'm stepping back from those duties, but I'm putting together a questionnaire for folks to review for sending out to the business community. And there was discussion of having at least a public hearing in January, probably part of one of the select board meetings, sort of exact date to be determined once we've had a little bit more time with information and sort of soliciting feedback on a slightly more informal basis. But I think we're looking towards having the public weigh in as we go into budget season. I don't know if there's anything else folks want to add.
Yeah, I really think we should have a focused public meeting on it. Recognizing that there's not agreement necessarily on the board, but I think there's certainly a majority with interest in pursuing it and understanding what public comment would be. So I'm thinking maybe our second January meeting on the 12th. After we have all this information, we can put it out to the public and see who shows up and what their thoughts are. Does that sound good?
I think we would, does it make sense at the first January meeting that we finalize that memo and
Oh, yeah.
and make sure we get it released to the public, posted on the town website, et cetera, so that folks have enough of a lead time to read and get informed before we absolutely agree. We need a public, probably more than one public session leading up on vote, or excuse me, town meeting vote.
Maybe one dedicated non-select board.
Yeah.
That's similar to this.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
And I think having a deadline of January, sort of having something that's submitted to us and finalized and then sort of not adopted, but sort of read into the record.
I would say at some point, a meeting where more people can attend in person, and it's dedicated to that subject, unless that's what you were proposing.
No, I wasn't, but I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Maybe an extra
An
meeting in
extra.
a kind of the way that we did wastewater or Irisville,
Yeah.
having a open house.
Maybe
reception.
once there for the steps.
But I think we need, yeah.
I think sorry, go ahead.
I'm good with that.
So that's
I
not January 12th. Originally, did you say January 12th?
I think we want a select board one,
January 5th.
will be after the memo is released,
Mhm.
the finalized version, and then we should prepare to schedule another meeting.
That will not be a select board meeting. Okay.
Yeah, would be.
I mean, it likely would be a select board meeting, but it would be a
Right,
different
sorry.
format, different time.
Okay, yep. Oh, great, okay.
So I'm sorry to reiterate something that was already said, but I'm not sure if I actually understood. So is it that we're adopting something on January 5th and then on January 12th, we're having a public hearing as part of our regular meeting, or are we expecting everything to happen on January 5th?
I mean, we could do it. I think what Shad said is, let's make the former. Yeah, let's have a meeting on the 12th. And, but make sure we have the memo and the public has access to it by the 5th.
Okay. And then in addition to those two things, having a separate dedicated special select board meeting about this topic, maybe in February?
Yeah, I think we
Okay.
decide whether we're gonna, if it's on the ballot, definitely.
Yeah, I think that's the question.
Yeah. So we might want to see if we can have squeeze another meeting into January.
Yeah.
If, depending on how we feel.
Well, if the budget's going really well, it's possible we can keep a Monday.
Yeah,
Since I don't know, that's up to you guys, but.
well, let's start with this plan. And we'll-
Yeah, I agree. I just wanted to.
Okay.
What happened, John?
It's better.
Hey guys, on the
Oh
back.
no!
We're just really
To the
interested.
very end though, so just to now, it just died, so my apologies.
No.
So 52 views, so 52 people picked in and out tonight, so.
Wow.
There you go.
Be here for the exciting conclusion.
Yeah.
Thanks, John.
So,
Thank you, John.
Be well, have a wonderful
thank
holiday.
you too. So I'm gonna go really quick. As I said, we met last week. we have the year-to-date that Steve provided for the budget. There's no big surprises. Things actually look fairly good. We looked at the capital budget, you know, there's some needs, but I think we left the meeting thinking we can get another fairly tight budget this year, and still meet our needs. Is that?
Yeah, I think that's where we ended up.
I did
It's really
start,
great.
I did start kind of making a new tab for the General Way House. I don't know what the board thinks. I think the General Way House Commission's supportive of, I mean, just so it's more transparent. I mean, right now the town just pays for everything. I mean, I would kind of like it to be so that there's somewhat of transparent
We do
budget.
have two line items in the White House in the budget, but I'm not sure they're really, so we can add, we can do whatever.
You guys are okay with me trying to do that and then, okay.
So is that enough for the budget tonight? Knowing that we're gonna see some real numbers next time, I hope?
Hopefully we'll have some health insurance savings that we can incorporate into that.
And we're doing a lot of vehicle maintenance and repairs for the town garage. That's the one thing that really stood
It
out.
really did stand out. Yeah.
Yeah.
At some point, are we going to have a discussion on I call it an all hazard reserve fund? To nullify the effects of another top storm or green type of disaster?
Yes, I think we should have that discussion, whether it's, you know, I mean, yeah, I mean, I think we should definitely have a bridge and culvert, a healthy bridge and culvert fund, because that's where a lot of money goes, but there are other emergency response expenses that are unanticipated.
In that, we're not seeing as much coming down from the federal government, that FEMA may pack up its tent and leave. That we're going to be responsible for some of these expenses in the future, and that we already have paid. Irene, we're still paying.
Yeah.
I like to call it an all hazard.
Yeah, we put that on the agenda. I'm really glad to hear there's 70,000 in the White House. But I don't think we need another 100 there.
No, but no.
Okay. Moving on, the consent agenda.
Do you want to do the minutes?
Yes, I pulled off the minutes for 11/24 because the bottom of page 70,
You tell me the line number, because I'm
Yeah.
in that Word document, so I can make direct changes.
91, unless Josh has been painting lately, it should say the Pine Brook Bridge.
Well done.
The bridge is great.
Well done.
The motion on those minutes?
I would move that we adopt them as amended.
Every once in a while, you need to prove you're at them. Second?
Second.
Yeah, all in favor? Right. Motion on the consent agenda?
Yes.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Select board roundtable.
Oh, shoot.
What? Is it? Yes, there's a select board roundtable. Yeah.
I have one.
Anybody have any? Go ahead.
Oh,
Dave?
shoot.
Marissa?
I'm okay for tonight.
I think I'm mostly good. I think that there's this sort of tri-town traffic calming effort. I think York is going to be going the next informal gathering, which
Thursday.
for the record, I think usually happens at Lawson's, if that sweetens the pot for anybody who wants to join in the future.
Send me the information.
I just heard you say you just want to hang out with me.
Yeah.
That's what I heard you say.
That's sort of the only roundtable matter that I've got. I'm missing Vermont. That's not really appropriate for roundtable, but it's still the truth.
I guess I'll do
There you go.
20. I went to the community gathering with the B app. B app is a an app that allows volunteer opportunities and community gatherings to be posted and people can find them.
Okay, the new copy,
App-based format.
the new copy of the due
Pretty
process
neat. I've signed
resolution.
up.
I printed a new copy.
and I'll work with York to see if the town can become a host for open municipal jobs, or volunteer roles.
Oh, that's excellent.
Our hearings and, other meetings that we have. And just other uses that might, mesh with our needs, but mostly it's just a cool resource for people to know about. And yeah, there were a lot of people there and a lot of energy and it was neat. So that's all for me.
Can you spell that?
Yeah, I can send it.
Like,
to you.
I was gonna say, it's difficult to find on the App Store. It took me a minute to find, but
I'll show it to you.
Is it like B as in Bumblebee? B
Yeah.
as in?
as in Bumblebee,
I have it.
Like BEE?
Yep, it's a little,
correct?
it looks like that.
Got it.
It's like a,
You can sort of search by area and see if there are,
I don't know why it doesn't come up, as quickly in the App Store.
I think they said they're working on it.
but you can sort of look in a particular area. I'm pretty sure it's just in Vermont now. And
This
if
is
there
Vermont.
are sort of volunteer events or opportunities to sort of help out in a community, they will show up on the map and you can sort of click on them and find out what's happening. It's pretty neat premise.
Yeah, it's sort of.
Several volunteer opportunities.
Yeah. Exactly, so.
Troy, do you have anything? York?
Yeah. I just,
Why?
it's late. You know what's funny is, do you know how often I'm called Troy?
Really?
It's really common. Yeah.
Really?
Right. Well, actually, Jen called me Troy for a solid month.
I just think of York, Pennsylvania and Troy, New York.
Is that why?
That is a very funny.
I'm just gonna share a couple things that were in here. I'm gonna skirt over, nobody know my name. We submitted our brick grant, which I didn't know anything about. At any rate, I submitted everything, it was accepted, so that's gonna be an $8,300 check coming us to reimburse for work that was done by CVRPC for the local hazard mitigation plan. I'll first share that we were awarded the NBRC Catalyst Grant for connecting the wastewater project from Irisville to the Waitsfield School. That's a
Woohoo!
that's
Congratulations.
a $1
Yeah.
million grant and was a really
I feel like
big
we carried
push.
the lead on this meeting.
And it's a really big deal.
Yeah. Yeah.
The same day, we also received notification that we're not awarded the CDBG disaster relief grant, which was the one for Carroll Road. And that's disappointing, but they really said that our proposal was fantastic. They're just looking for something that's really more focused on housing. And the other, I had a meeting with V-Trans. It really should have been done before, a couple years ago, more than a couple years ago, when the work was done on Bridge Street, that intersection Bridge Street and Main Street. The original plan, was to get rid of all those no parking signs in front of the library across from the VG. I talked to JB and Josh Rogers, who had great concerns about it, so I convinced the committee, the V-Trans Traffic Committee, to kind of split the difference. So the first part closest to the southern part of the no parking on the east side, closest to Bridge Street, they're going to keep a no parking sign, and then part of it will be removed. People park there already anyway. So that is, I think that's the gist of it.
Thank you.
So motion to go into executive session to discuss personnel items, contracts, and pending or probable civil litigation.
Yeah, we have to make a finding, right?
Yes. That
yeah, we're gonna be discussing, labor relations agreements with, we're gonna be discussing employee benefits. Do you have is that the subsection?
I think the ones I wrote are correct.
Employee benefits, okay. Pursuant to 1 VSA 313A1B, labor relations agreements with employees, arbitration, mediation, grievances, or collective bargaining, including the negotiating or securing of labor agreements, and legal pending or probable litigation pursuant to 1 VSA 313.
And we don't have the number, but we should also, we talked earlier about discussing of contract negotiation.
Yes. Yeah.
Mhm.
Sorry,
No.
that would have been.
Well, no, wasn't on our radar.
It's good to know. I have no idea what that one is.
Where
You probably did it on the VLCT website.
Yeah, it's A. I'm pretty sure. 313A1A contracts. Contract negotiations.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
It's 9:23. Yeah.
On this time, right. Coming out of executive session at 10 o'clock. Do we have a motion on healthcare?
Yes, I would make a motion to approve the new healthcare plan as proposed, which will result in savings for both the participating staff and the town.
Nice then. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Is there a motion on contracting with D&K for the Meadow Road Bridge inspection?
I would make a motion to authorize York to accept a contract of the discussed amount.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second.
Aye.
Aye.
Thanks for hanging in there, Lorna.
You.
I don't think. Yes, yeah.